Is Alligator Alcatraz, is that real?
Yeah, I think it's like 20 miles to the west of me. It's just like holding.
That's so cool.
And he thinks Alligator Alcatraz is cool. He thinks it's funny. Horribly conditioned, like no conditions whatsoever. Prison, like it's a island surrounded by hungry alligators. This is like evil, and you're like, oh, yo, that's hacking base, dude. Like these people are subhuman. By the way, this guy was pearl clutching because Destiny made a joke about like kids dying in a flood that his daddy Trump caused, by the way. He said at the beginning of this debate, well, I haven't done any research at all. I don't do research. I don't know. Like, you don't know anything. How do you have these opinions and these beliefs? How do you find this funny? What wealth of knowledge are you pulling from where you can just laugh at that statement? Come on.
Some people just handle the situation with a little bit more empathy.
Kill me, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, what's up, buddy?
Hold on, let me pop up my screen real quick. With you, I think and I think with every streamer, there's always like what one person's saying, what someone else is saying, and what the actual truth is. So I did just kind of want to hear from you. Why are you banned on Twitch? Because I don't get it. Was it because you called like trans people dumb or something?
I mean, there's the macro reason and then there's the given reason. The given reason I think was because. But there was a time when I was feuding with Keffels, and then there was a group, I mean, I don't have to tell you, there's a group of like very ideologically driven, like crazy, a subsect of like trans people online. And I said something along the lines of like these people, like this trans group on Twitter is, I think I call them incestuous or something, or something like that. So like, don't fight with them. It's a waste of time. And they're not even representative of all trans people. These people are crazy or something like that. I thought I said subhuman initially, but apparently that wasn't what I said in the clip. I think I called them inbred, and then I got perma-banned for that. But I think on the macro thing, I think there's just a lot of people at Twitch. Like it's like a San Francisco subculture of people, and I think a lot of them are Hassan fans. And I mean, just given everything else that happens on that platform, I'm thinking there's just a lot of people in trust and safety that really didn't like me for probably reasons related to my politics, is my guess. Because it's hard to imagine why I would get permabanned for that comment, given everything else that happens on Twitch. So yeah.
I will say I am not familiar with what your politics are at all.
Okay.
The only person's politics I usually keep up with is just Hassan's, because they're so dystopian to what any normal human being with a functioning brain thinks. It just baffles me every single time he talks. I'm pretty sure you're like left leaning.
I would say I'm quite far left, but it depends on the environment. It depends on what we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah, I think you are underneath the impression that I'm like far right.
I don't think he's far right. He's just like Tectone is just like stupid. He's just not very smart, or I shouldn't say stupid. He's just not very smart. He just like sees stuff online and he just like has an emotional reaction to it, and he's like formed his entire worldview around it. Like that's how a lot of people that are like this are. I don't think like there's a lot of people who simp for Trump and stuff, but I think if they actually just like did like any amount of basic research, or just like actually read the news and actually like engage with like engage with things unemotionally that they see online, they probably like wouldn't simp for him as hard. But it's like Trump is based and he's epic and he trolls the blue-haired people and they're annoying, and trans people are annoying and stuff. Like this is how a lot of people end up coming to this point. So I wouldn't say he's far right. He's just like, I don't know, he's like kind of just what's the word, like just I don't want to say brainwashed, but I can't think of a better word. But yeah,
not really, but
okay, great.
So here, you help me with this, okay? You can help
people
me.
like this, by the way, will always call them like centrists, or like center, like just in general, like they're not one side or the other. I hate both sides. I have problems with both sides. But then like you'll see like with the way that they talk that they are always simping for the right and are always criticizing the left, always. But yeah,
Help me sort through this, all right?
Yep.
Okay, this has been my issue with like politics on the internet as of recently. Okay, real quick, do you mind saying how old you are?
How old do you think?
Not a day over 24.
31.
Okay, 31. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, 31.
Okay, 31. I'm 36. Okay, I feel like in the past growing up, and maybe this is just like a thing that happens as you get older and you just see different things. So maybe I'm just, like we remember our childhoods differently. But I feel like growing up, I feel like everything wasn't quite as political. Like today, it feels like everything is political. Like how much you weigh if you go to the gym is political.
I feel like this has a lot to do with the internet, honestly. Is probably like the fact that it feels very recent, like wokeness and all this stuff. Like it feels like very recent, right? In like the last 10 years or so. And think about that's when everyone started. Everyone was on social media, especially with like Instagram becoming popular, with Twitter being more mainstream, with YouTube becoming like basically the main source of entertainment for a lot of people. A lot of people in general have had their worldviews kind of crafted by the internet. There's this thing that people say where it's like, oh, the internet's not real life. But like the thing is that a lot of people spend a lot of time on the internet, and a lot of people get their information on the internet. And so in a sense, like we're kind of blending the real world with the internet in a lot of ways, especially with like how we're interacting with people or how we perceive people or like how we perceive our role in real life based on what's going on in the internet. This is why like a lot of people are like incels, and for example. Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. It's gotten way more political, and the reason that things that like normally you wouldn't consider to be politicized, like I think he said exercise, for example, like working out is like right wing or whatever. The reason is that there's probably just like a lot of unrelated correlation where it just so happens that a lot of the like right leaning people like lended more towards like those kind of behaviors at first, even though there's nothing inherently right or left wing about working out. There was just like a lot of people on the internet that were right wing, or a lot of people that were doing exercise content probably also like incorporated some kind of like right wing ideology into their stuff, I would guess.
That every single TV show you watch is like, it's people of, liberals watch this, conservatives watch that. I feel like every single thing has become so hardcore political. And I think one of the kind of annoying things that I have to deal with is online, there's a group of people who are like, today we call them woke, but like 10 years ago we called them SJWs. And a lot of these people are incredibly annoying. I've spent a good part of my career fighting against a lot of these people. They've tried to cancel me on 50 million different things. They're just very, very annoying people. In the past, it was the social justice warriors. Today, today it's the wokies. But the issue, I think, is that somehow, like, this has bled over into every single part of life, such that people who are traditionally not, I would say, like conservative, somehow get wound up in the entire kind of mega conservative stuff. So I don't know if you saw that clip where XQC was shouting at me because he's like, Asmongold isn't even right leaning. He's like center, he's center left or whatever. I think the weird thing is that traditionally people would have just been like, God, these like social justice warriors are so annoying online. They're so irritating. And I was like, okay, if you want to have that opinion, that's fine. But now that gets like plugged into, God, these people online are so annoying and woke scoldy. And also, I think that putting children in immigrant cages is actually kind of base. And it's like, wait, how did these two opinions get connected? Yeah. And I think that's I think my issue is that I don't understand how everything gets like wrapped into this huge political movement. It's like, why not just like hate annoying people without having to go full send on the rest of your political opinions? That's like that's the frustrating thing that I have, I guess, to deal with. Yeah.
Real laugh.
It's kind of funny.
Very real.
Well, it would be if the country wasn't on the verge of collapse, I think. But
yeah. Oh my God, this is like they think it's funny, like, and they think like Trump stuff is funny too. Like they think it's funny, like even if he does something really up, they're like, oh, like holy based, but and they're joking, but it's like this isn't a joke. This is like real. Like this is a very like serious like bad is happening, and it's like it seems like a lot of people are just like laughing at it. They just think it's funny that it. I don't know. It's just so weird to me. I don't get it. I genuinely just don't understand at all, like why people do this. Why they think it's like people are getting deported to El Salvador without due process. We're talking about people are getting ripped out like off of their campuses and deported. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this isn't funny. We have like this drug addict, fat South African dude running around with a chainsaw on stage talking about like making America great again and making comedy legal and all this stuff, and he just like absolutely has like a hissy fit, and there's like this huge drama, and like it's funny, but it's sad. Like all this is sad, and if your first reaction is to like just laugh at it and not like have a like, if you can laugh, like I can laugh at it, I feel comfortable laughing at it, because at the end of the day I know it's up and I don't support it, but you can't laugh at it and then also like run defense for it at the same time. That's just like, that's what bothers me.
Yeah. For me, like politics is usually like a joke. Like I don't really take it too seriously.
I am Canadian. I agree with Trump 40% of the time. I currently like the Republicans more than the Democrats because how similar the Democrats are to the Liberal Party here. Also because when the Democrats were in, you guys didn't know who ran the country. who ran the country, Joe Biden. Joe Biden was our president. I don't know what you're talking about. You guys didn't know who ran the country? Are you talking about the auto pen? Are you just like ripping a Trump talking point like straight from his vocabulary into yours? Illegal immigrants are being used for slavery by the bourgeoisie. Wow. Maybe. In El Salvador, yeah, probably.
Seriously, to be completely honest. I like to do what other people probably describe as like common sense politics, where I'll talk about political issues where it's like, this.
Joe Biden wasn't running it. He had prostate cancer and dementia. Okay, you're retarded. Sorry to tell you. I'm sorry. If you think Joe Biden had dementia, but you don't think that Donald Trump had dementia, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I really don't. Also, by the way, just keep in mind something about this applies to all presidents. They have cabinet members and constituents for a reason. Like they are a figurehead of a greater cabinet. So certain people will make certain decisions or whatever, but everything goes through him. I don't know why, I don't know how, it's actually really interesting. I don't know how people are just so susceptible to this, like, idea that this is, like, an exclusive Joe Biden thing, first off, but also that he, like, there's, like, a shadow government that was running everything, and he was just in bed with dementia, like, all day doing absolutely nothing. It's just, like, so stupid. Keep in mind, by the way, Donald Trump, like, on his first few days in office, he was being handed, like documents to sign. He's like, oh, what's this? What is this? Like, and he had no clue what they were, and he had to have them explained to him, right? Like, he had to have these things literally explained to him because he didn't understand them. But then Joe Biden is literally, like, if you would watch him do it, he'd like explain why the thing is important, explain why it's important, why he cares about it every single time. But, like, of course, and also another thing, Donald Trump never gets accused of having dementia because he's always been retarded. He's always been stupid and said insane. But Joe Biden had a certain decline because he got older, and everyone assumed he has dementia. He was more, in my opinion, made more sense than Donald Trump. So this is day one executive orders. He's got this big stack of things here.
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January.
This guy is explaining the executive orders to him. He's retarded. This guy is an actual idiot. I don't know how you could possibly think that Joe Biden is like dementia riddled and couldn't do anything, and that this guy is like sound of mind. Not only is he completely nonsensical when he's speaking publicly, he doesn't make any fucking sense at all. He's too stupid to even know what executive orders he's signing, and he needs some guy next to him to explain it to him. They're like his handlers. So he had to explain it to him because there was a lot of documents there? No, they had to explain it to him because he's a idiot. This is the president. These are his executive orders. He shouldn't need the executive orders explained to him. He's the president. They're his orders, right? You're talking about this, like, you know, this shadow government. Who's actually the president? Who's really signing the auto pen, huh? We literally have this guy right here. Executive orders, and he's signing them based on what he's being told. The way the guy's saying it, he's just like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Come on, dude. Like, let's like you were talking about, let's be honest. Come on, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest here. Seriously.
A factual representation of the acts that in the order that they occurred without being like pushed towards a left agenda or a right agenda. And I worry so much falling down that rabbit hole, I kind of just avoid talking about topics like that altogether. Whereas, like, for example, another topic that I would feel comfortable talking about is like HRT and, you know, trans kids. I don't believe in trans kids. I believe in mentally ill parents. I don't think that you should be putting HRT into your children.
Okay, so the guy who just said, I don't do any research, is saying, I don't believe in trans kids. Like, okay, if you did any amount of research, you would probably know that it's not like it's impossible for children to not have gender dysphoria. I don't does that mean that it's good to like give them surgeries and cut off their penis and like give them drugs like when they're 8 years old? No, of course not. But the idea that like transgender kids don't exist is retarded. It's like saying that gay kids don't exist. Sure, are kids born gay? No, they're not born gay. Kids aren't born trans either. But it's like you become gay at some point. You become trans at some point. Like it's just so stupid for you to say that they don't exist and it's just mentally ill parents all the time. Like, it's just stupid, dude.
Due to the fact that, I mean, these kids are like 8 years old.
I believe that there are trans kids, but some kids are well, yeah, undoubtedly there's going to be like there's always going to be like bad actors for sure. Like, there's always going to be like parents that are just and are abusing their kids or are jumping to conclusions. They're like, oh, because I remember when I was a kid, me and my friend had a sleepover at my mom's house, and we thought it'd be really funny. My sister had these like dresses from Halloween. We thought it'd be really funny to put them on, and it was funny it was just genuinely a funny thing. And my sister dressed up as a boy, and we had the dresses on. And my mom took like a picture of it because it was just like a funny thing. We were just having fun, and we thought it was like it's like, oh, it's funny because we're guys and we're wearing the dresses, and you're a girl and you're wearing boys' clothes, and it's just funny. Like, and it was just that deep. And it would be a real big problem if my mom was like, oh, you guys are transgender. Actually, I think you guys should transition and start taking like, that's really bad. Obviously, that wouldn't be good. And like, there should be more signs to it than that, because obviously I'm not trans. I'm just a guy, like I always have been. So yeah, it is, the idea that like that would happen is definitely scary, but I don't know. It's just not, my problem is it's not really that common. It's extremely uncommon. Oh my God, I got this gun again. I love this gun. I can't believe I got it again. Oh my God, I got a properly leveled one. But yeah, no, I do agree in a sense.
Trans kids. I don't believe in trans kids. I believe in mentally ill parents. I don't think that you should be putting HRT into your children due to the fact that, I mean, these kids are like 8 years old, they're 12 years old. Why are you trying to, cancel their, I guess, puberty so they can become a girl better? I just think it's dumb. I think decisions like that are too serious to be making at such a young age. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I would consider like common sense politics versus, the informed.
Common sense politics based on what research? You just admitted you haven't done any research, dude.
What do you call geopolitical politics?
Yeah, sure. Or it depends. Yeah.
Geopolitical politics. Nice.
I mean, so I'll say that there's. Okay, so there's two things going on. So one, when it comes to like.
Also, doesn't Tectone constantly get mad at Hassan about like the Hamas and Palestine stuff? Or maybe he just gets mad at him because he's annoying. I don't know. But if he gets mad, I do know he gets mad at Hassan all the time. Has he never said anything about like Palestine or anything? Because he just said he doesn't know anything about geopolitics. I'm curious if he has any opinion on Israel-Palestine at all.
Larger political issues. You look like a snapping young lad who goes to the gym. Do you do like full body workouts or whatever?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Every day.
Okay.
I have a girlfriend who's very active in the gym, and so she makes me work out very good.
Okay. Do you do like deadlifts?
No, I don't do deadlifts. I don't do squats. But I do like so. For example, like I have a spine injury.
Sure.
So I have to be very careful with the lifts that I do. Deadlifts and squats are like they're brutal for me.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say for like deadlifting and squatting, these are two pretty complicated lifts. Like if you were to write it down on paper and tell somebody perfectly how to do the lifts, there's no way they'd be able to do them perfectly without a lot of practice. Like you just have to do it, right? I mean, like technically this is true even for benching, right? You bench 225. What do you do?
Bench 225 for about 48 reps over 5 sets.
Jesus Christ, you're a monster. But even okay,
I outbench Hassan. Fun fact. So
nice.
Dude made a clip the other day where he was saying, if you don't bench 225 for.
Who doesn't support Hamas? Son definitely supports Hamas. He absolutely does. Doesn't he say something along the lines of, like, there's no perfect revolution and stuff like that. He never disavowed October 7th or anything. And on top of that, you also have to consider, like, even if you don't directly say I like these guys, it doesn't mean that you don't not like them. For example, there's a lot of criticism to be made towards Hamas. Actually, I think that there's just as much criticism from a perspective of caring about the people of Gaza. There's just as much of an argument to say. And by the way, I don't know a whole lot about Israel-Palestine, but it's very clear to me that based on what I have seen, that Hamas and the IDF have a lot of equal culpability. Hamas, he never criticizes the use of human shields. He never criticizes the fact that Hamas does not make themselves distinguishable from civilians, which undoubtedly causes civilian deaths. Is the IDF bad? It seems like it from what I understand. But at the same time, the idea that he's never made an effort to disavow what Hamas is doing and saying, hey, you're putting a lot of innocent people at harm. So yeah, I don't know about that. Tectone. Tectone supports a two-state solution? Oh. Really? That's a very I mean, maybe. Or wait, no, wait, I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, two-state solution. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine I support a two-state solution as well.
5 times, then you can't talk about my politics. And it's like, bro, shut the up. Everybody could do 225 with like 6 months of practice in the gym. It's not even hard.
Sure. Okay. So when it comes to doing stuff like that, you just have to like have experience, right? Like no amount of reading or research is going to give you the perfect form, is going to give you the muscles to do it. I think when it comes to a lot of political issues, so geopolitics or economics or whatever, there's not a shortcut for just kind of like having a lot of ground information and then like reading a lot of stuff. There's no way to just be able to pick out one article and discern the truth or the not truth. When it comes to complicated, large-scale political issues. That's one thing I would say, but then you said you don't touch those that much, which is fine. The second thing that I kind of wonder about sometimes, so when you talk about like the HRT for kids thing, so I think that there are some issues that can be contentious. I cringe a lot when people talk about like their 4-year-olds or trans or whatever weird stuff like that.
Insane.
But
it's psychotic.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing
also, this is like not a like I don't like this is not a problem that happens a lot. Like I feel like if you're worried about the safety of children, you should probably be talking about how unsafe children and teenagers are in school from just regular teachers, straight cisgender teachers. Like, for example, like they talk about drag queens in schools and stuff in these like weird sex books or whatever. It's like, not to say those aren't bad. I probably don't think it's a good thing that drag queens are going into schools or whatever, but how likely is your child to be groomed by a drag queen visiting your school for one day than they are by a teacher they see every single day? And statistically, it is far more common to be groomed by a straight teacher than a gay one or a trans one. So yeah, it just like feels like very misguided, and it feels like there's a deeper intention behind why it upsets you so much,
And I kind of question sometimes is there's like this.
I don't know anything about Canada. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Probably slightly better than America right now, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know a whole lot about Canada. That's like very low on my list of things that I like pay attention to. But I probably should. The politics there are important.
4-year-olds or trans or whatever weird stuff like that.
Insane.
But
it's psychotic.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing that I kind of question sometimes is there's this magnitude effect that's hard to explain to somebody, where somebody can say something and it's not like wrong, but sometimes I wonder the response. So for instance, like if I were to tell you I broke up with my ex because I felt like they left the house dirty. I felt like they lied to me sometimes. They stabbed me 4 times once when I was sleeping, and they said something mean about my mom, right? Like if I presented it that way, like you would be like, wait, hold on. One of those things seemed way worse than the other things.
Yes.
Right? It'd be like very weird how I present that. And I didn't say anything wrong, right? Like, oh yeah, there's 4 reasons why I didn't like this person, when you talk about like the HRT stuff in kids and people have a strong feeling about that, I mean, like we can walk down that whole route. I don't really care that much about it. But I guess my question is I feel like how do some people have such a strong opinion about that, but they're like indifferent to parents not vaccinating their kids against like the measles, and then their kids die of the measles. True. That's like a weird dichotomy to me.
I feel like there's different. Wouldn't you say? Like I feel like proper vaccinations.
Like in terms of like, I've never seen somebody who is like super hell-bent against HRT for kids because of protection of the children and all of that, which I mean, I think that can be a legitimate position. But then when it comes to like people in Texas not giving their kids measles vaccines and then their kids just die from the measles, like holy shit, that just seems unhinged. But like the same group of people that would have really strong opinions about the HRT stuff, on the vaccine stuff, they would go, well, I think parents have a right to figure out their kids' medical decisions and the government shouldn't intervene with that. And I was like, I mean, okay, you can have that position, but then why not take the same position like the HRT stuff?
I feel like when it comes to preserving a child's life with a vaccine, I understand that. Hold up, sorry, my brain is jumbled right now. Holy you.
Oh my god, that's awesome, dude. That's so fire. Like the second he talks to anybody who's just like presenting like a reasonable counter to anything he believes, all of a sudden he's like, dude, my brain isn't working anymore. What the like, why isn't my brain working? It's just like, oh my god, it's insane. It's like an actual in real time. Oh god, I don't want to be mean to him. It's okay. So when people like do apologetics for Trump, or when people are like transphobic, I have the natural inclination to be to them because they are being right. But like, I always have to remember that like a lot of these people just are just like, they're not. No, I don't even want to say they're stupid. I don't even want to call Tectone stupid because that feels nasty and mean too. But it's like some people just don't know. Like they just don't. Like they're kind of just caught up in some kind of like weird thing they saw online and they just like run with it. I gotta like. I need to stop being so mean. I'm gonna have my ADHD meds and my schizo meds in a week. So maybe I can muster being nicer to these people, but right now, oh my god. I need to like actively remind myself because I feel bad now. I kind of feel bad because I feel like he's just a simple guy.
Speak so fast.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to keep up. I got brain fog right now. I don't have enough B12. Yeah, I feel like a parent should be, I mean, it's probably within their right to say that, you know, for this, when a child's born, they want to make sure that the children doesn't get the measles. But I don't think a parent has the right to say, oh, my son is a girl because they play with Barbies, when in reality, they're just gooners. Right, and they're just like looking at the naked Barbie, but they're just like, "Oh no, I'm telling you, it's a woman trapped in my child's body. I know it is. They're begging to get out. We got to get them on HRT quick, especially when it comes to the whole power dynamic of what your mother wants you to be versus what you are as a son, and you just telling your mom."
He really just didn't understand the analogy at all. That's kind of crazy. He just straight up didn't understand the analogy. Or it's making a point like, oh, so people can make decisions based on whether or not to give their children vaccines, and you're probably indifferent to that. Like you think that anyone, like it's up to you if you want to make the choice. But then when it comes to HRT, it's just like always wrong, right? Like it's always wrong. Like especially like, you know, when you say child, you think of like a baby, but a child could also mean like 13, 14-year-old, where it's like, yeah, it's probably okay for them to take like, not puberty blockers necessarily, but like HRT, it's like it's probably going to be, they're going to be fine. Like the revert, like if they change their mind in a couple years, the effects reverse for the most part. So like, yeah, and especially if you've gone to multiple psychiatrists and psychologists and they've all like diagnosed with gender dysphoria and it's been, you know, proven, and you like socially transition first, like by then you probably have a pretty good idea if they're actually trans or not. So I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it just doesn't really make any sense, because I would say there's probably a greater argument for allowing your kid to be trans than opting to not give them a vaccine, right? It's just, yeah, but he doesn't seem to get that.
Anything that you will tell your mom if they want you to be a daughter. You're like, oh yeah, no, I am a girl mom 100%, because you want like their appreciation and their, I guess their approval. And so kids will just do whatever they want for their parents.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I can understand why people be opposed to the trans stuff, but I don't understand how people can be okay with not vaccinating their kids. Like, if we're talking about like protecting children and making decisions for them that they're not capable of making yet to keep them healthy and safe, watching kids die of measles now in the United States because parents decide not to vaccinate them, I would say because people in the government
I think parents should vaccinate their kids. I think they absolutely should be vaccinating their kids.
Yeah, but yeah, I understand that. But we run into the magnitude issue, right? So like when it comes to the vaccination stuff, you're like, I think that they should vaccinate their kids personally. But when it comes to the HRT stuff, I think you're like, that should be illegal, right?
I think, well, I mean, yeah, I think it's a big difference.
There's also a volume issue where I'd imagine that there's probably more parents that are putting their kids at risk to die by not vaccinating them than there are parents that are giving their very small children like HRT and TRT and estrogen and all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You think?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's at least some evidence for trans people being a real thing, regardless of how you feel they should be treated or whatever. But I don't think there's any evidence for like not vaccinating people against the measles. Like, I feel like the measles one is a much easier give me.
Yeah, once again, I do think that every child should be vaccinated, 100%. But I feel like
should it be illegal to not vaccinate them?
Making a life-altering decision that much, I don't think. Like, I feel like the odds of
is a life-altering is a decision like a decision where you die at the end, like not giving your child a vaccine. That could be a life-altering decision.
I'm a kid. I need to be trans right now, or I'm gonna kill myself. Is like, okay, well, that's probably an underlying issue.
Yeah, I mean,
that's probably like a mental health issue.
It could be, but I mean, like, do we think do you think that anybody is trans, like the older people or whatever?
Do I think that older people are trans? Well, yeah, I mean, I obviously believe it is.
This is like such like a cop out that a lot of people do, where like they'll be super transphobic and they'll be like, there are real trans people do exist, like they do exist, but then they like create these like impossible circumstances for them to live in, where it's like trans people do exist, but there's no trans kids, and it's like, well, how do you square that? How do you say, like, what, like at what point do you just turn 18 and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not trans anymore? And then it's like, well, no, I mean, maybe like 12 or 13, you could maybe become trans. Well, that's kind of a kid, right? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the idea that like a child is just completely incapable of having a transgender internal experience of like gender dysphoria, like that's just like not a thing, but it does happen to adults and it's valid for adults. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Byproduct of a mental illness, gender dysphoria.
Sure.
Right.
So like if there's no better way to treat it than through transitioning, I mean, obviously the earlier you can identify it, the better. If there was a different way to treat it, I mean, we talk about a different way to treat it. But I guess I feel like if somebody were to kill their kid because they tried to trans their kid and the hormones ended up killing the kid, I feel like there would be a ton of outrage about that online. But when kids are dying from the measles, I feel like a lot of the people on the right who would get super incensed over the HRT stuff just don't care that much. And that's just crazy to me. Because I feel like at least ostensibly on one side, you can say like, well, maybe, you know, the HRT stuff, maybe there are trans people who are adults and transitional early can help. But on the measles side, like it's just like crazy information about vaccines killing people.
How many people are dying of measles right now?
In the United States, not many, but I think that I thought it was someone said it was like the first death was like 2004 or whatever, and then the outbreaks are becoming increasingly large. But
Okay,
I mean, also like how many kids are transitioning? There's like in terms of like surgeries.
Yeah,
and stuff,
exactly.
It's pretty low.
Like this is like, so imagine if I was like, imagine I was like a person who's like, we should ban alcohol, right? Like alcohol, we need to ban alcohol. Alcohol is bad. It's like, why? It's like, because so many people are dying for nothing. There's no point in getting drunk. It's stupid. It's pointless. There's no reason for us to allow it to exist in society. And it's like, okay, like what do you mean? It's like way too many people are, when they're drunk, slipping and falling and cracking their skulls open and dying. And it's like, well, if you're really worried about like people dying from being drunk, like wouldn't you first point to like overconsumption or first point to drunk driving or something like that? Like, why are you focusing on people falling on sidewalks? It's like the same thing, like, right? Like I'm supposed to, in good faith, believe that you are worried about the safety of children and the sanctity of children, and you're focusing on them being trans or them being groomed by trans people or them like committing suicide because they've ruined their bodies or what? Like that, like you're worried about those kids specific, like what? Like you're not worried about kids that are, you know, more prone to like gang violence in low income neighborhood. You're not worried about those kids. You're not worried about kids that are growing up in adoption homes. You're not worried, like all these like kids that have this is like a way bigger issue. Like if you're really worried about kids, you'd think you would be worried about like 50,000 other things before you're worried about this. That's why it just never rings true to me forever. I always know that intuitively it's because you just hate trans people, and that's okay. You can if you want, but it's just stupid.
Number two, right?
Sure. I have to imagine it's on like the rising scale though. What's the suicide rate and depression rate in trans people?
Something that really bothers me, by the way, is like when you're talking about like trans suicide rates, you could talk about all of the trans identified people that kill themselves, but you know what a really interesting number would be? The amount of trans people that kill themselves after they've transitioned. That would be like trans people who have been able to actually transition. The number is probably significantly lower. You fail to account when you say, well, when you're trans, you kill yourself. So the idea that you don't become trans, you wouldn't kill yourself? Like, what? The reality is that like, it is like, it just doesn't make any sense for you to assume that the problem is enabling the gender dysphoria by becoming trans rather than like suppressing it and not acknowledging it. Not to mention the other like life factors that may come into play why a person would end up killing themselves. It's just really stupid, and it's just such a dumb argument.
Latino sometimes I think I get a kick out of that. They're like a pro trans TikToker.
Transition people kill themselves at a higher. What do you mean transition people kill themselves at a high rate? From what I understand, is that it's extremely low in like suicidal ideation, or even regret is extremely low. The basic idea, regardless, would be, first off, these people are mentally ill. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness. And I wish we would just acknowledge that. The reality is that you don't cure it by repressing it or ignoring it. That would only exacerbate suicidality. So if you're going to appeal to suicidality, you wouldn't appeal to the idea that will objectively kill them more. You would not. You just simply wouldn't.
Who like teaches children why they should convert and like take HRT, and they're huge.
Being from Canada, I'm sorry, being from Canada does not give you the authority to talk about trans identity or like trans statistics or anything like that. I'm very sorry. I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying, by the way, that trans suicide rates aren't higher than the average person. Like I said, they're mentally ill, and they typically, every single person that's trans has depression, right? What I'm saying is, very simply, is that the idea that preventing people from transitioning or saying that transitioning is bad because they kill themselves is retarded, because you would objectively kill yourself less. You would be less likely to kill yourself if you transitioned. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make, if you're worried about kids killing themselves because they're trans, keeping them from transitioning is not going to stop them from killing themselves. That's the point that I'm making. And the numbers are overinflated too, by the way.
Like they're enormous. And so I think people get very uptight about that. Well, once again, I can actually understand what you mean, why people might want to take the more measles thing more seriously. But if measles were to become a bigger thing, I think people would. But I think it's because the whole trans thing right now is so huge on social media that's why they're focusing on it right now. But I feel like if like
why they're focusing on it, not me, they're focusing on it, right?
Tens of thousands of kids were dying of measles. I'm sure people would say, hey man, we should probably stop doing this or start vaccinating our kids.
Sure. Although, I mean, at that point, like measles, I think was an eradicated disease in the United States. I think there's been 3 deaths so far, and then apparently there's around 1,400 cases that have been confirmed. I don't know if it'll get bigger or not, but I guess the thing that I don't like about the measles stuff is that seems like a no-brainer. Like you should just probably be vaccinated against the measles.
I also absolutely agree. It should be a no-brainer. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then sometimes I worry, like the trans stuff is, I think a lot of it got kind of cringe, but I mean, like you also see a lot of it is kind of course corrected too, right? The UK had their huge report, and then the medical guidelines have kind of changed, and more research has come out, you know, to where maybe it's not good to give kids puberty blockers, you know, before age 14 and stuff. And like, I feel like the science corrects over time. And I think parents, this is like a very sensitive conversation you have to have between parents and children and doctors and figuring it out. And then there's also social media stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. I understand that. I guess when people's like entire political identities get wrapped up in it, that's when it starts to get weird. Kind of like the example I gave earlier about the, you know, hating wokes, and now we're like pro, you know, Alligator Alcatraz. I feel like some of the woke people push the trans stuff on hardcore online a lot, and then somehow people become supportive of, you know, like Trump's foreign policy. And I'm like, how did this?
Is Alligator Alcatraz, is that real?
Yeah, I think it's like 20 miles to the west of me. It's just like holding.
That's so cool.
Well, what?
See, oh my god! Once again, he thinks Alligator Alcatraz is cool. He thinks it's funny. Like we're sending people onto a horribly condition, like no conditions whatsoever, prison surrounded by alligators. It's like actually like evil. It's like literally like cartoonishly evil. Like it's a island surrounded by hungry alligators. This is like evil, and you're like, oh, yo, that's hacking base, dude. Like what the fuck?
What do you mean by that? Why?
Like these people are subhuman. By the way, this guy was pearl clutching because Destiny made a joke about like kids dying in a flood that his daddy Trump caused, by the way. Or he didn't cause the flood, but he easily could have had the measures to prevent it if he hadn't cut so much for the weather service, but okay.
Like the idea of that is crazy, bro. Like,
yeah, but it shouldn't make you laugh. It is crazy. The idea is crazy, but you shouldn't be laughing at it. You should, like, you can make jokes. I have no problem. You can make jokes about it. You can laugh about it in other, but if your first reaction when hearing the name of invoked is like, oh yeah, this is funny. This is a funny thing that I'm going to laugh. No, it's terrifying, dude. It's like dystopian.
There's like thousands of alligators. So is it to what, hold illegals or something?
I think it's just temporary holding for people who are being detained and then maybe deported or something.
Yeah, man, I would not want to end up on that, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, it's also probably not good, awful. Right? Yeah, it's not a good thing.
I mean, no, it's probably not, but it sounds cool.
Okay, Jean or whatever your name is. You are definitely just trolling me. Now, I can tell. You're just trying to troll me.
Holy shit. It's very marketable. Like, the merch for that has to go insane.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think they were trying to sell merch for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine like a bunch of alligators with like an ice hat on. Sounds nuts.
I don't know if they've managed to get them to wear hats yet down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you want to go from here from this conversation?
Oh, sure. Okay, so I'm glad to know that you don't think I'm far right. That's good. I don't really think I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't really describe myself as like a political streamer at all.
Sure. Well, but then my issue has to do with like Asmongold as well. Even if you guys on paper maybe wouldn't be far right, in terms of like in practice or application, you become like indistinguishable from it, right? Does that make sense?
Okay, so give me an example of someone who is far right.
So like I would argue that Donald Trump is a far right political figure.
I am not trolling. Why can't we have different opinions without you can have different opinions, but when you say that living without AC is worse than living on in a tent, the Alligator Alcatraz is a tent, brother. And they're surrounded by alligators. The facilities, it's just a big tent. Have you seen this? Like, this is why I say you're trolling me, okay? And I'm gonna not get one guide by you. This is a tent. Do you think there's air conditioning in here? This is not, look at the beds. There's no mattress. That is not worse. Keep in mind, Trump has threatened my motherland multiple times, so I'm not a Trump simp. Obama had the illegals in a tent in the desert with no AC. Wait. They had no AC. Oh, you're talking about yourself. Oh, yeah, maybe. And guess what? I would say that Obama's conditions were bad. I would not say they're good. They're bad. Also, by the way, people constantly, left-leaning people are always criticizing Obama and Biden for their border policies and the way they treat illegal immigrants. I don't even know if I'd say it's worse, by the way, because it's one thing to say, oh, well, this is the execution of this facility is poorly managed, as opposed to these are the direct conditions that we are deciding to apply, where we're going to find a bunch of alligators and put them around this like little island to ensure that we're as evil as possible, as opposed to Obama, where there's multiple layers of bureaucratic tape where people are making decisions that maybe he is not directly influencing, but I would also still regardless say are bad. It's just like, it's not really a good argument. Also, it's very concerning that like if I have any criticism for Trump, you just immediately try to deflect to something else. That does not bode well for your notion that you're not a Trump simp, brother. But once again, I'm pretty sure you're just trolling. So yeah.
Figure, and that the lawmakers in Congress that support him are far-right political figures.
And by the way, Alligator Alcatraz is in Florida. It's like at southern Florida. It's in like off the coast of Miami. It's insanely hot there. It's insanely hot there. Especially on closer to the water, when you're nearer the water and the water's reflecting off, that makes it hotter as well. So yeah, it's just, I hate Trump. You don't understand what he's doing to our economy. Okay. Have fun in chat.
They've plugged in socially
I don't care about that.
to certain like trigger things like woke stuff or trans stuff that they end up drafting a whole bunch of people kind of unintentional. Like Asmongold, I would say hardcore. I'd say you a little bit end up getting drafted to basically supporting like the conservative party in the United States, just because
didn't Asmon vote for Kamala Harris?
I seriously doubt it.
I thought, wasn't that a thing that he said on stream? Am I crazy?
I don't know, but I mean, even if he did, it's been nonstop support for Trump for the past like year. But I seriously doubt he voted for Kamala.
Obviously, I don't want to speak for Asmon at all. I obviously don't want to do that. But I will say I feel like political commentators right now should be praying or like thanking God himself that Trump is our president, because he just supplies so much content, man. You know what I mean? Like political commentators' numbers are up, baby. Like with Joe Biden, what the f was anybody talking about, bro?
Yeah, you know who else would give a lot of content? Hitler, if he like rose out of his grave and took the presidential office. That would also be really good content for political content creators, right? It'd be great.
sleep half the goddamn.
But that doesn't mean that that's not an argument for him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if I wanted to watch a comedian.
Didn't vote. Okay, I also didn't vote. Okay, so
Hell yeah,
so
dude.
Voted. Gotcha.
If I wanted to watch a comedian, I would watch a comedian, right? But for the president of the United States, I think it's kind of important that the United States like functions well as a country. I think that it's probably good that we have a country that is doing the things it's supposed to do to enable all of us to live the lives we want to live. And if there's like funny people to watch, we should probably, turn on Comedy Central and not the White House press briefing, right? I think that's probably not a good thing.
So then you think Kamala Harris would have been a better president?
Yeah.
God, why? Like how? Like I wait. Okay, he said he doesn't do any research. I've said this before. If you can't pronounce Kamala Harris's name, like I don't think you have any authority to speak about politics. Like if you can't pronounce the Democratic nominee's first name, like I'm just going to assume you do not engage in politics whatsoever and know nothing.
Easily, in like every single possible sense of the word.
But Hassan Piker has gone on record saying that they would have done the exact same thing 1-to-1.
Yeah, but Hassan Piker is a retard. Do you want to agree with him?
I just feel like I don't want to rage bait too hard. I'm getting in meme mode too much.
Sure, you're good.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about Kamala Harris, to be completely honest. I was just like, yeah, Trump would be funny if he was the president, and that's pretty much it. That's legit my whole thing. I don't really care. I mean, I would like him to release the Epstein files because I want to know if my president's a pedophile or not.
Nice, dude.
That seems pretty important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, I just think Donald Trump's a funny guy. He did some shit in WWE back in 2000.
He's not even that funny anymore. He's like just like kind of like stupid and retarded now. He was way funnier his first term. He was really funny his first term.
2002, so that was sick. He shaved Vince McMahon bald. It was sick.
Do you think is there like any line at some point where you're like, oh, maybe this is like a little bit more serious and this is like not good for the country, or is that a thing that you don't feel like as much of an investment in?
Absolutely. I just don't. I guess I just don't believe that the president has as much power over the country that people say. Like I always figured that the president was kind of just like a figurehead.
That's kind of true when the Republicans don't have majority ownership of like every branch of government. Like they have the House and the Senate. They have majority in the Supreme Court, and obviously they have the executive branch. So and especially once again, I said in the last stream, I trust the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution, but with 3 of Trump's guys in there and another 3 of Bush's people in there, or the Bushes, I don't know. He might be able to bend the Constitution to however he wants it to be. So I actually don't really know at this point. So he might actually. That is true in the past. I would say that there's usually a good amount of red tape, especially with But I don't know. Not right now. It
to
doesn't
just
feel like
enact
that.
what Congress wants and be a scapegoat in case the country goes to shit, so we have somebody to blame. I just don't really believe that a president actually has absolute control over the country.
And also, yeah, he doesn't have absolute control over the country, but he's gonna have like a decent amount still, like a lot more than anyone else. Wait, where's the? Okay.
Well, so what about like the tariffs? Doesn't he kind of unilaterally? I mean, like he controls all of that on his own right now, right?
Does he?
Yeah,
this
he does.
This is how uninformed I am.
Sure.
So he has complete control over the tariffs.
Yeah. So one of the issues. So when you hear the soy jacks online like me cry, "Oh, Trump is an authoritarian," right? I think one of the there's this law called the Tariff Emergency Powers Act or something. It's like the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Okay. So the idea is basically that in times of great crisis, the president is able to unilaterally do some like tariff policy, right? Like imagine Mexico starts invading us tomorrow, the president say, 5,000% tariffs on Mexico. Them, we're not going to import while they're trying to kill our country, But the problem is Donald Trump has come out and basically declared everything a national emergency, which is how he's able to do all the tariffs literally on his own.
Okay, Gene, I actually like you a lot. We might have to become a 51 state because of how badly it's damaging us. Yeah, that's awesome.
Meaning that, costs of goods on a whole bunch of random things are starting to increase randomly because people are having to cover the cost of the tariffs. But he's doing that completely on his own, 100%
What's an example What's an example of something going up in price due to tariffs?
So there is do you buy like graphics cards or do gaming or whatever?
I haven't bought a graphics card myself in several years, so I would be uninformed on graphics cards. I don't believe the price of eggs has gone in any drastic direction.
Well, I mean, eggs we domestic.
In my experience, actually, eggs have gone down. I will say a decent amount, like a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I would get like the 60 of eggs, and it would be like it was like $20, but I feel like now it's like $4 cheaper. So maybe Trump is actually the greatest president ever. Well, it is funny though, because apparently I that's just for me though. That's just where I am. For some people, it's way worse. For some people, it's like way worse. And that's why a lot of Republicans have moved off of the egg talking point. Because that was like the whole thing, right? That's like why people talk about egg prices. Because they're like, oh, the economy's so bad, I can't even buy eggs anymore. I can't even buy eggs. And now that like for a lot of people, it seems like egg prices haven't gotten better. Now Republicans don't want to talk about the egg prices anymore. They're like, who cares about eggs?
Domestically manufactured animal ag. Oh God, what am I trying to think of? What's the name of the guy? He's Tech Jesus. Every time he does like a video on something, you know it's
I know
about to be
exactly
destroyed.
who you're talking about. Yeah, the NVIDIA guy. Yeah, I know him.
He destroys everything that we love and cherish. Gamers Nexus, yeah. If anybody's bored, obviously you don't have to watch this, but like Gamers Nexus did a really good like deep dive into like how tariffs are impacting kind of the computer shipping industry. It's like a 3-hour video, so you don't have to watch it, but I think it's called The Death of Affordable Computing. And he goes through and he talks to a whole bunch of different manufacturing companies for cases and stuff, and talks about like, this is the cost it's going to cost to ship things in now, like this is the difference in price, like this is the stuff that we're going to have to charge. It's not just cases, yeah, it's like everything, but it's really it's a really good video. But like literally every single thing that you import in this country will become more expensive because we import basically, if we don't import the thing itself, we import the materials to make the things.
So my viewpoint on tariffs, for the very limited knowledge that I have on it, because I know people were saying that the price of eggs is going to become $18 a carton.
I'll just say I don't know a whole lot of. I know about basic economic structures. I cannot speak on tariffs because I'm retarded when it comes to tariffs. I just math does not work for me. I can explain and like understand the broader concepts of like economic systems and how they have worked or how they do work. When it comes to like shit like tariffs and I'm just retarded. I don't. I can't. I won't be able to contribute with this. To be honest,
my understanding of tariffs is that we need more American jobs, and we're too reliant on other countries to make these products.
Oh, this is okay. This is something I can actually talk about because I do understand this argument. This is stupid. Because this is the flip-flop that we always get. On one hand, we're told, well, the tariffs are here because we need to start bringing jobs to America. That's what it's all about. But then on the other hand, like Trump is trying to work out deals. Because it's the trade deficit. Our trade deficit is unreasonable. So which is it? Are we trying to close the trade deficit and make it so we have a trade surplus in every country? Or are we trying to bring American jobs into America and stop relying on other like this is the thing. Like I hate this argument because it's not real. It's not real. It's like I'm sure he means what he's saying, but it's for most people it's just a big lie.
For us. So putting tariffs short term on our country could cause somewhat of an economic stress, but long term it'll open up the ability for more Americans to have more jobs to make our country more sustainable by itself rather than relying on other people to do the job for us, is my understanding of it.
Sure. Okay. We can talk about this. Okay. I have no problem. I love talking about all these topics. Okay. But remember the joke I made in the beginning about how hating woke people somehow became tied to like people's positions on immigration? So I feel like you're somebody who's traditionally not that political, but you're able to fully articulate like the Trump position on tariffs. That's very interesting to me. Right?
I try my best.
Sure. I'm not accusing you of like bad faith, but I'm just saying that like it's crazy to me that like all of these things have become like super connected. That's like really scary to me. Yeah. I'm not saying you're like lying or hiding about anything. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever watched the news in a very long time. Once again, I watch Asmon. I've actually learned a lot about politics by about Hassan to people, and they're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then obviously I hang out with like Donut Operator and Co., so they'll talk about it every now and then. And I'm like, okay, so this is kind of what I understand. And just, I've been doing this thing, and this is so gay to admit publicly. Do you know what stoicism is?
I know what people say stoicism is, yeah. Are you taking like cold showers in the morning or something, or?
No. So stoicism taught me that approach everything with skepticism. So whenever I hear something, even if it's from somebody that I don't really know, I'll always take a mental note. Like whether I know them deeply or I barely know them, I'll always take a mental note of what they've told me, and then I'll research what it is they told me to make sure I'm not getting misled. Because, yeah, I feel like I had this internet issue with a while ago, and I spouted some misinformation. I felt really bad about it. So I'm just trying to Google everything I say a little bit more. But, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, do you do all your own, like, thumbnails and editing for your YouTube channel?
No, none.
Okay. You pay somebody to do that, right?
Yeah, so I have one team of editors that gets 100% of the revenue for my channel. And then I have another editor who gets 20% of what I make off my main channel, and they run everything.
Okay. Do you do when you pay these people to do this work, do you feel like you're getting ripped off?
No.
Okay.
I'm very happy to give them whatever they want.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing they don't feel like they're getting ripped off, right?
No, I think they feel like they're making a lot of money really easy.
So I guess one of the things that I have an issue with, this is a very macro level thing, but it's going to impact this kind of like tariff conversation, is right now there's this very widespread thought on the right that has to do with like everything in life being a zero-sum game. So like if immigrants are winning, it means we're losing. If other countries are winning, it means we're losing. If these people are getting jobs, it means we're losing jobs. People have this weird notion now of trade or of development in general, where you can't create wealth. It always has to be transferred from one party to another. So like when you pay your editors, like
this is exactly what's happening with the tariff. Well, that's actually probably what I was going to talk about, how it's like, oh, we have a trade deficit with Japan in cars, which is like obviously we're going to bring in more cars from Japan than we are going to send cars over to Japan, for example, right? Like obviously, and you can never really fix that. But it's like, oh, since we don't have a trade surplus in every aspect of the word, that means that's bad. Like that's a problem. We should be winning in every single, like we should have a surplus in every single sense. And if we don't, we're getting over and we're getting exploited by these governments. It's just stupid.
In terms of
these
physics, there's only so much matter in the universe, and matter is conserved and all that, right? But in terms of like human well-being and economics, everything, like you're giving something to them, they're giving something to you, and both sides are benefiting from that. Both sides are walking away from that happier. When I look at things like tariffs, and we're talking about like making everything in America, I feel like one thing that's never brought up is like, why isn't there some stuff that we'd rather just import and like focus on making better stuff? Like in the United States, we have like the highest levels of manufactured goods and services of any other country on the planet. Why would we ever want to go back to just making like nuts and bolts or like refining steel?
I think that's a very fair point, that there are some products that we should be utilizing from other countries. I think that's absolutely fair, 100%. I just think the United States is most likely to become over-reliant on other countries, to where the point is we're importing our United States flags from China.
Sure. But I mean, also think about like how cucked that is, that like China has to make our flags for us.
I feel like that's insane.
Well, but like,
it's just crazy.
Isn't it kind of cucked on their end that like we're producing so much in terms of high productivity work that like they have to make flags for us in order to survive as a country? Like I feel like I would rather be the country who's forcing other people to make our shit in order for them to survive than for us to sacrifice, you know, like AI research or electric vehicles or space rockets to China just so that we can make our own flags, you know?
Yeah, that's a problem. It's like we're dominating in so many different areas that it's like, oh no, we're not. There's like I'm okay with like us not dominating in areas that just realistically don't matter that much, or not that they don't matter, but like the fact that we like own the monopoly on like a different, like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't think it's like I think it's like a red herring. It's like a fake thing to care about.
We're like, in your words, cucking China. I think it's just a little bit sad for the state of our country where we just can't have Americans making American flags. I will.
That's like, Who cares? Why does that matter? Who cares? That's such a stupid thing to care about. It's like such a prideful, ironically, this is like a very emotional thing to like care about, where it's like, yeah, America should be making American flags. Like, why? Who cares?
So if our unemployment is really low and our workforce is one of the most productive in the world, right? Because we're educated, we do like high level stuff. If we're talking about bringing back all the baseline manufacturing, like I would rather have, you know, as much as I hate the crypto bros and everything, I'd rather have like the tech people working on AI than the tech people, you know, going into the coal mines to do like the really low level like widget manufacturing, you know? Like why not import widgets from another country the same way that you have other people do thumbnails, right? Like I'm not knocking any like...
We should have other countries do our grunt work.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that sounds mean, but like that is how other countries view the United States, right? Like we talk so much about how much we feel like we're getting ripped off by China, but like the rest of the world is like the U.S. consumer is so powerful that like anything we make, they have the ability to buy it.
It's also just stupid too, because living in America is awesome. Even with Trump as president, it's awesome. It is awesome to live in America. Okay, so like the idea that like our lives are being over by trade deficits, or the fact that we don't control every single last job that we could possibly have, and we don't make our own steel, we don't make our own this, that, and other thing. Like it's just like, it's like, who cares? It's just stupid. I keep saying it over and over, but that's just simply the only argument you need. Who cares? Life is awesome. Even if you're black, trans, disabled, in a wheelchair, your life is probably better than a lot of other people's on the planet. Like just objectively. Maybe not in the Western world, but even like the most outcast and downtrodden of our society in America have a pretty good life. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's not anything compelling to me where it's like we should have these American jobs. We should like it's just stupid. It's just dumb. Who cares?
Standards of living are outpacing almost all of us, and like nobody is thinking like, God, I wish that we could do more baseline manufacturing and allow the United States to continue dominating the world, you know? Like the export heavy economies are like the UK, which is kind of right now, Iran, North Korea. Like these are your export heavy economies. And China, whose middle class is nowhere near as high of the standards of living that we have. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes there's like these truisms that are given, like, oh, you know, if we trade with other countries and we have a
you
trade
think Tectone's going to have anything to say about this or what?
It's really bad. And it's like, well, we also just have a lot of money and a lot of consumer power.
Is he going to be like, yeah, you're right.
That's not a bad thing. Like we're the envy of the world when it comes to our economy. And I think people look over that sometimes.
I think a lot of people's view on politics is very black and white, but I think everything's like a particular shade of gray. So I want to say, I think I understand your philosophy of having other countries do our grunt work. That way we can actually do the that actually matters here in America. Mm-hmm. However, I can also understand someone's perspective if they think that we're becoming too over-reliant on other countries' resources.
Why give your opinion? Why are you saying, oh, I understand both sides? Like what, how do you feel?
So I think one of the biggest points of contention that we had was obviously for the Guadalupe River, when the youth Christian girls camp got swept through by the river. I think like, I don't know.
Keep in mind, by the way, that earlier this guy was laughing at Alligator Alcatraz, and he was like, come on. And even then, he was like, I noticed, I didn't want to say anything because it's like pedantic, but like, that's he would talk about like kids killing themselves, and he would just like start laughing. I'm just like, all right, what, do you not care about kids dying or what? Like, I don't know. I wasn't trying to be pedantic, but yeah.
Like 100 people died, I'm pretty sure, something like that. NMP made a joke. NMP and Donut got into an issue. Then I supported Donut's side, and then I think you reinforced NMP's side. So I think
I don't even think like NMP's joke was so bad. I'll get the one. Let me find it. NMP.
People dead and like,
oh yeah,
there are like 13 confirmed people dead and like 12 like campers are lost right now from a summer camp nearby.
Campers? Is it children awake?
Younglings, Nick.
Okay. They don't have much to live for anyways. It's okay.
Wait, they have their whole lives ahead of them.
Yeah. What? Their whole lives, Bree? That's gonna Bree. When they're older, every job is gonna be AI. Everything they learn is on ChatGPT. There is no future.
So basically, how I see this joke is like he just wanted to make like a joke about like, oh, they got nothing to live for. It's fine. Like, and he's just being a little edgy, like just trying to like provide comedy relief. Also, like the other people there seem to be joking about it too. Like that guy was like younglings, like as a joke. Like seemed like everyone there was just like being like lighthearted, but then like his joke didn't land at all, but then he tried to like justify it, and then so that's why he just randomly came up with like ChatGPT and like he was just like, oh, ChatGPT's bad and AI and stuff, like, and so the joke just like, I think he was just being retarded and like made a joke, and he's just like not very funny. But like people ended up turning this and being like, oh, he like is genuinely glad those kids are dead. And it's just like, and they did the same thing with Destiny when he made his joke. It's like, oh, you're genuinely glad that these kids are dead. And keep in mind, these are like right-wing, right adjacent type people that would normally be like, oh, you can't make jokes anymore. Comedy's illegal, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, and it's just like, yeah, it's just very cringe that how people reacted to it.
I think it'd be good to just talk about differing point of views for that specific issue on why you think, and once again, why you think making jokes about that side is fine, and then how I think about this scenario, why making jokes in that, because there's a very specific scenario that I'm referring to on why I don't think it was cool to do that at that time for specifically NMP.
For specifically NMP. Oof. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here's what I would say broadly speaking, okay? I think that broadly speaking, edgy jokes and who you're allowed to make fun of, I'm going to quote the anti-SJWs from 2016. If you want to find out who you can't make fun of, find out who you're not allowed to laugh at. I feel like jokes are just an exercise. This is going to get really cringe. I'm sorry. We're political theory. But I think that humor is oftentimes an exercise of the political power, and it demonstrates the power structures around you for who has the power in this scenario. Meaning that if I were to be in a group of bros and I had like the funniest jokes ever related to like, I guess like botched trans surgeries or making fun of some 15-year-old TikTok non-binary kids who are, you know, lopping their tits off or some shit. That like there's a bunch of humor that you can mine there. I'm sure you guys have. Well, and I'm just sure there's a lot of people in general that have like made fun of a lot of people on that side of the internet related to trans stuff.
Oh, I've made so many jokes about absolutely everything.
Sure.
You know, from the Holocaust to 9/11.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure I've made a joke
and I
about
think
everything.
Things that I'm allowed to make fun of, like socially, that people won't get super ass mad about, I joke about them all the time. Wow, I got a Infinity that's one level lower and does not have mayhem. I actually don't even think I'm going to use this. Actually, yeah, it's worse. Damn, that sucks.
If people want to make jokes like that, that's fine. I mean, I like you can joke about anything if it's just jokes. But I think that the trap that people fall into is they think, wow, I make some very edgy jokes. I'm a very edgy person. And there's this concept that I became aware of when I looked at Hassan, and I call this like safe edgy. And safe edgy is when you're making edgy jokes.
Yeah, like leftists all the time, they can make fun of 9/11 and they can make fun of like, you know, they could say cracker and they can like say like, oh, I hate white people and like that. Like they're perfectly fine with unsavory behavior, and even if they were to say it, they like edgy humor. But the problem is that they can't distinguish edgy humor about black people or trans people or women from just blatant bigotry, basically. Or I mean, they probably can, but they just refuse to, right? But yeah.
But you're doing it amongst a group of people where it's not very edgy. Like all of you kind of agree, you know, like I would say, obviously I have my political biases here, but when comedians are, you know, making fun of Biden and stuff and everybody's kind of laughing along. When the Kill Tony guy, when he made that joke about how Puerto Rico is an island of floating trash and all the Dems got triggered and all the Republicans at the Madison Square Garden were laughing, you know, that's like a safe, edgy joke because you're in a safe spot to do it. But when Kill Tony did, they did a thing where they made fun of Trump. I don't remember if it was at one of their shows, the extended joke shows or whatever, and some of the fans started to get like really irritated. Now that was edgy humor, but it was actually edgy because the audience wasn't even necessarily vibing with it. So I guess the issue that I have is that sometimes people will pretend that they have these principles. They'll say like, oh, like you can't make fun of drowning kids in Texas or whatever, right? I'm not really even making fun of the drowning kids. I'm making fun of the policies in the Texas and all the dumb shit that goes along with that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. If you want to have that policy, we can't make fun of, you know, dying kids or whatever then that's fine. Have that policy. But you can't make fun of, I think the other day Asmongold was laughing at some ship that overturned like 66 immigrants were on their way somewhere and they all died.
I know. First off, yeah, not only has Tectone been like laughing at a bunch of random like he thinks Alligator Alcatraz is so funny, but God forbid you make a joke about like something that was essentially the byproduct of Republican funding being cut. Like, I don't, like, it was a Republican policy that the funding was cut. It was Doge. It was Elon Musk's retarded ass that did it. It was like, out of all the things that he actually cut, he barely cut anything. One of the few things he cut was the thing that ended up killing those kids, unironically, because if it was well funded, there's a good argument to be made that those kids never would have died. But you're not mad at them. You're mad at Destiny for making a joke about it, right? It's just like, it's just stupid.
Or whatever, and some shit, and he was saying the pictures were funny. If you want to laugh at that, okay, well, fine. If we can laugh at dead kids, though, we can laugh at dead kids. If we can't laugh at dead kids, we can't laugh at any dead kids. We can't pretend that we're edgy sometimes, but not be edgy when it's an issue that impacts us. Because then you're not being edgy. You're just being safe edgy, and you're pretending that you're being edgy. That's the thing that, like, triggers me. Like, it's either all okay, or we have to draw some hard boundaries and say that none of this is okay. You know, depending on the subject matter. Yeah.
100% your point. I understand your point of view. So I think the reason why the Guadalupe River jokes were so less than positively received is due to the fact that it was actively happening while the search for the children's was still occurring, and the people who got offended by it. I mean,
so you're gonna appeal to it being too soon, really? Is that what we're gonna do? We're just gonna say too soon? Come on.
I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off as well. Where, for example, Donut and Brandon.
So wait, would he be allowed to make that joke now and you'd find it funny? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's just stupid. That's just dumb. Like, you only would care about it if it's recent, but like if it happened like 6 months, like 6 months after the fact, if he made that joke, you'd be like, ha ha ha, true, those dead kids. Like, no, then you wouldn't care, right?
I and myself, because while we were out there looking for these kids, we see someone who's within driving distance to come help us on the effort, and instead of driving to come help, they're saying, LOL, there's no reason to live anyways, AI's taking over, nobody cares about kids dying. So I think it was like a very sensitive time. I don't want
to be fair, NMPs, here's the problem. If you're going to be edgy, you better be funny, because if you're not funny, you're going to look like a asshole. And he is, I don't really watch his streams that much. The only reason I know who he is because he's constantly talking about his divorce. But he seems like he's not very funny, and his joke was not funny. It could have been funny, but it wasn't funny because there was just like, it just sucked. The joke just sucked. So I think it does come off as a lot more insensitive. I found Destiny's joke genuinely funny because it was topically relevant. It was making a statement. And it kind of like subverted your expectations, right? And it kind of was like, the joke plays into the Republican mindset in a sense. So it's like, I think that's like, even if you don't laugh at it, that is like a good joke. But NMP's was just like, I think he's just like kind of retarded, and he just said something stupid. But yeah,
joke police at all. But I think there was a lot of very.
It's like when the Queen died, everyone in the UK around when it happened was really sad. But now I hear people joke about it more and more often. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. But still, I don't think that applies for Tectone. I don't think, like, I think, like, I don't know. Well, maybe it does, actually. Maybe I'm not being charitable. But I really don't. I don't think that it was I don't think it being too soon is the ultimate reason why it wasn't funny. That's all.
High tension moments between people who are very emotionally invested, and I think telling jokes is fine. But like as you said, telling edgy jokes isn't so edgy when you know everybody's going to agree with you. But at the same time, there are some jokes that just are not funny, so expect people to crash the out on you if your delivery is
sure. And
oh wait, okay, he made
that's fine.
So
something happened a few times. I don't know how long this will carry over, but I like, he said it as a joke, but I was actually kind of happy, and I feel like it made my point a little bit. There was a time when I don't remember what it was exactly, but Asmongold looked at something and he was about to say some shit, and I remember he said, okay, I can't make this joke because if I do this, Destiny's gonna roast me on this. And he said that as like a joke. But the fact that he thought about that, that's actually, I like that, because I'm sure 100%, I guarantee it, that as much as I might not like Donut Operator for reasons, I bet that when he read my tweet, I bet that wasn't just like a clout farming moment. He wanted to, Destiny, blah, blah. I bet it did actually bother him a bit, right? These are your communities. You've got, he has a kid, imagine your kid going off to camp and drowning at a flood where it's supposed to be like a fun event, and people online making fun of it. That's got to be like a horrible feeling, and I'm sure it did feel horrible. But I guess like the thing that I ask as a human being, we should be able to do this, is if you have that feeling, and my jokes are making you feel that bad, it can't possibly be that we are making jokes about people dying in the California wildfires when that's going on. It can't be that we're joking about, oh, I guess Newsom f***ed up and now all you people are dying. And oh, look at these losers in California. Maybe they shouldn't have had all the...
Yeah, Donut Operator was literally like while the California wildfires were going on, people, like, so many people lost their homes, so many people died. And you're like, actually, how many people did die? I'm curious. Yeah, like over 400 people. Holy, it was really bad. And while it was happening, he's calling like Gavin Newsom a retard. He's like, "This is your fault." And it's like the pearl clutching is so gay.
Never around their house and all that shit. Because those jokes were flying when West Hollywood and all that shit was on fire. But because it's California, it's okay.
I do think there is a difference because for the jokes about the Guadalupe River disaster, it was LOL, dead kids, they deserve to die. Why'd you put people who can't swim near a river?
But that's not, wait. That's not the joke that Destiny made, and I saw everyone get mad at it. What?
California wildfires, which was where, well, the government or the senator, whoever the f in charge of that nation, up dramatically because instead of having able-bodied citizens who could come and help aid the forest, they were more worried about inclusivity and being progressive and hiring women and transgender people so that way that the people who are safe... Is
this what you believe, or are you doing a steelman? I can't even tell right now. Because the way he frames everything, he tries to separate himself from everything.
It was on fire, but because it's California, it's okay.
I do think there is a difference because for the jokes about the Guadalupe River disaster, it was LOL, dead kids, they deserve to die. Why'd you put people who can't swim near a river? Versus the California wildfires, which was where, well, the government or the senator, whoever the fuck's in charge of that nation, up dramatically because instead of having able-bodied citizens who could...
Oh, no, this is something he genuinely actually just thinks. Okay, cool.
Aid the forest. They were more worried about inclusivity and being progressive.
Yeah, okay. So that was the problem, is that Gavin Newsom had he was knee deep in woke policies and he was too busy to do anything about the fires. It's so stupid. So dumb. By the way, during this time, Trump was like holding him hostage, basically, saying like, we'll stop sending aid if you don't do this and do that, if you don't get rid of these woke policies or whatever. But you probably think that's based, don't you?
And hiring women and transgender people so that way that the people who are saving you look like you. And I think people were criticizing the way the wildfires were being handled rather than LOL, everybody's dying. I don't think anybody was doing that.
So there's like 20 issues that I have with that statement, but let's
also Destiny's joke was criticizing the thing where it's like where he was really, it was basically recontextualizing it from a Republican lens and being like, God killed those kids because they were, getting around the Texas porn ban, right? Because they were breaking the law and they were masturbating, they were sinning, right? That was the joke, and the point is that like Republican ideology has ultimately led these children to die, right? Like that's the grander point there. Or not Republican ideology, like Republican, well, in a sense, Republican ideology, more like Republican legislation and decisions made by a Republican president have directly led to this, right? So, yeah.
But let's say that, let's even assume that all that was true, although almost none of that was true, but let's assume that all of that was true, right? There's a way that somebody can criticize you to where you can tell it's coming from a good place versus there's a way that somebody can criticize you where you can tell that they're just like having a goof where it doesn't feel like these two things feel very different, right?
Do you think you were having a goof? Because I think you would admit that you were going a little bit wild.
Well, wait, so he thinks that criticism does apply to Destiny's tweet. That's crazy. It's like so transparently not the case, but okay.
Do you think in reading my tweets, do you think that I was happy that children were dying? That I'm like, good, dead kids?
To me,
well, see, like the fact that you're laughing right now makes me think that I'm not saying that good dead kids, right? But like, so for instance, so now we just diving a bit into, not getting into it, okay? Diving into the factuality of things, right? Nothing about the California wildfires was because of DEI or female firefighters or like people were literally posting commercials from like a TV show saying that like, oh look, they hired all female firefighters or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember. I saw that. It was like this black woman, but she like almost looked like a man. She like looked and sounded like a man. She was like, yeah, it's important that the person who saved you looks like you. Like, so much conservative propaganda is just like actual straight up that they just lie about all the time. It's so crazy. They'll just like make shit up and then people just run with it.
And these weren't even real things, okay? But like when you're done with this, if you get bored tomorrow, you can literally bring up like Care County citizens testimony, ARPA funds. And when they're considering, because one of the issues I guess they have, I don't live out in these places in Texas, but one of the issues they have is that like there's not good cell phone reception in a lot of these places because it's hilly, it's like mountains, there's a lot of things. One of the things that they were considering was putting up like a siren warning system for flash floods. So you don't need a phone, you just hear the sirens blaring, it's like, oh, there's a flash flood, like we need to get to higher ground, you know? The citizens are going up over and over again as person for person. They're fighting against these funds. They have the money in the bank account from the American
they don't
Rescue
want
Plan.
Joe Biden's money, right? They didn't want Joe Biden's money. I think I heard about that.
And the citizens don't want to spend the money because they think that if they do, Biden is going to come and take their homes. Right?
Yes,
Because of stuff that
they're
they hear
right
from
to worry
Alex
about
Jones,
that.
because of stuff they hear from Ben Shapiro, from Donald
They couldn't
Trump.
trust the establishment. They were like, we know what happens when you get this money. We know what happens when you take money like this. They expect something back. They don't just give it to you. They don't just give you the money for the funding here. They didn't want the corrupt Biden money.
From the rest of these lawmakers. And like, it's funny and it's goofs and it's gaffes online. And it's like, okay, well, if all of this is a joke, you know, if we're going to have RFK talking about not getting vaccinated for the measles, and we're going to have people like DeSantis lying about Biden stealing your home if you accept funds, and then you get a flash flood and you don't have any sirens, you don't have any warning system, and now kids are dying, and it's like, now you have to care a lot. And it's like, damn, if we cared, maybe we should have done something in advance when it was preventable.
This is what I'm saying. I keep saying it over and over, and I'll say it again. Just play Warframe. I was actually, wait, why didn't I get this message on my thing? Did I miss it? If you're still here, I have considered playing Warframe. I should actually play that because it does look good. And it's free. I've been meaning to get around to that because I saw a tweet where people were talking about how good it was. And I was like, maybe I should try it.
Preventable.
So the reason why I was laughing earlier was because the way that I found out about you was...
Actually, I will probably do that because I'll need a game. I'm doing the achievements for this right now, and I'm almost done. I'm like very close. I have like 4 of these achievements are just like automatic because they're just like random. They're just random multiplayer achievements, and then one more DLC achievement, and then I get the achievement for unlocking everything. So I might actually, maybe I'll do Warframe after this. I'm good, buddy. How are you, Ozawaz? Thanks for checking in. Thanks for asking, buddy. Hope you're good.
Via that black guy who goes amazing.
Jesse Lee Peterson or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, are you and him friends?
I wouldn't say that, no. I mean, we're like friendly, but I don't want to say friends.
Okay, that's sad because I really liked that content. That was a lot of fun. And then obviously I enjoyed when you covered the Mizkiff drama where you would play Factorio, and then
Sure.
you did a little bit of clip farming. But the reason why I was laughing is because I keep on hearing from there was a clip from Erudite where it was like, look, Destiny, you are someone who's pushing everybody away, and this is why nobody wants to talk to you, and then like you're burning bridges and all this. And what I saw was somebody who was very angry, and they saw someone tell a joke, and then that pissed you off, and then you essentially were like, no, this is a joke, and now.
I know Destiny's pretty much same grind-wise. You always watch the same. I'd started watching Destiny in 2022, and then all the allegations came out, and I kind of like chilled for a little bit. But the more that I saw from the court doc stuff, because I'd look into it, and I would watch lawyers' videos on it too. I wouldn't just watch Destiny going over it. I would watch lawyers talking about the stuff and the updates. And I'm like pretty like I'm not ready to like renew my membership with him or anything, but I've become exponentially more convinced that he probably didn't do anything wrong. So I've kind of not been watching him as much, but I've been as the days go on, I kind of watch him a little more and more, because if there's just nothing really to substantiate the allegations, which is every day seeming more and more like the case, allegations, slurping allegations, no, like that those nudes getting leaked, he got sued by one of the women. He got sued by them, and it's basically like whether or not he maliciously distributed the nudes to other people or not is basically the contention. But so far, it seems like that's not entirely the case.
That it was like, look, Destiny, you are someone who's pushing everybody away, and this is why nobody wants to talk to you, and then like you're burning bridges and all this. And what I saw was somebody who was very angry, and they saw someone tell a joke, and then that pissed you off, and then you essentially were like, no, this is a joke, and now I'm going to say the worst things in human history.
okay, so here's my thing. I think that there are jokes that you can make that are unacceptable and in bad taste. For sure. But it's usually my standard would be like, for example, if you make racist jokes all the time, I might be like, ha ha ha. And then like the more racist jokes you make, I might be like, okay, what's going on? I'm like, hey, what do you actually think about black people? It's like, well, I mean, all I'm going to say is, they commit a lot more crimes and I just prefer not to be around them. And I'd just be like, dude, what the f? Your joke, like at that point, your edgy jokes, whenever you make jokes about black people and fried chicken and all this, I'm going to be like, dude, like you're just racist. Like you're just a racist person and I don't want to be around you because you're racist. Right? But like you can make edgy jokes about anything, racist jokes or whatever, and I'd be cool with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it. But if I feel like there's like a underlying agenda of like, no, I actually believe this, like that's typically my standard for like whether or not the joke is offensive or not. What the fuck am I supposed to do here? Hello? Oh. Yeah, so jokes can be too far, like, oh, that's an offensive joke, you shouldn't make that joke, that's a bad joke. There's tons of examples of that, but I don't know if Destiny's joke or even NMP's joke really applies to that, because I feel like you need to have an underlying like belief system and you're using the jokes as like kind of like a safe way of expressing your feelings, you know what I mean?
And you're gonna laugh or you're a pussy, because we need to own the conservatives like people own the libs of the left. So I just saw someone who was very angry and frustrated over a situation crashing the out.
Sure. I mean, you can say, I mean, that's one way you can view it. But I think the more prescient example or the better explanation is just that, like, if conservatives want to have this domain, and I've watched Brandon Herrera and all these guys on their show. You might have even been on this one where they were talking about, oh, edgy humor is important and we make fun of school shootings and haha or whatever. It's like, okay, well, fine. If we're going to have edgy humor, then let's have edgy humor. But if I say edgy jokes and they're bothering you, okay, and people want to get mad at me for that, that's fine. Get mad at me. That's great. But I hope that feeling carries through to the next time, right? Like when you're disciplining a kid and, they're not sharing their toys or whatever, or the kid hits somebody and you like smack the kid on the bottom, you're like, hey, it doesn't feel good, right? Don't do that to somebody, I hope that there's at least a few people who, when I make certain jokes about, kids drowning and whatever, some flood, that the next time there's like a school shooting in some liberal area or some kids are dying on a, some boat that overturns because they were trying to immigrate to some country, that people think for a second, it's like, okay, I didn't like this. I guess when people made fun of my shit, maybe I should kind of like chill on this.
I think there's a big difference in what people consider a joke. And I think this is the problem, where what people consider a joke in 2025 is, I'm going to say the worst thing in human history right now. Why aren't you laughing? It's because
it wasn't even the but that wasn't even the worst thing. There's a million worse things. I could think of 10 worse.
Also, I don't agree that, because it's not only was it not the worst thing that you could say way worse, but also it's like the joke, it's obviously jokes aren't as funny when you explain them, but like I feel like you should be able to explain the intention of a joke. If you can't explain the intention of a joke, then I feel like that's like inherently the joke just is like sucks, or it is just for the sake of being edgy, right? And I feel like you could like you can't do that with Destiny. Like I said, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but like it's very clear that there was like a few different layers to the joke that Destiny made, where I feel like you can just say, oh, this was like a well thought out joke that even if it triggers you, it's objectively a joke, right?
Things right now that I could say.
What's the worst thing you can say right now?
I mean, there were like 100 million worse jokes. One was that we needed to recover the bodies as soon as possible and test them for fentanyl, because I don't understand why the little girls couldn't swim. Maybe they drug overdose like they did with George Floyd. I think making a YouTube video where you try to like swim in a pool and then showing that you don't drown and then saying that this is why we need to test for fentanyl, I think that would have been a joke I could have made. I could have made a joke that we need to retrieve the bodies from the water as fast as possible to find out if any of the little girls were pregnant, since I know that Republicans like to be incestuous so much. And we want to make sure that we're counting the bodies correct, since Texas is an abortion state. So we make sure that we're doing like the actual death tolls correctly. That would have been a really edgy joke. I could there's like a million like edgier, meaner jokes that I could have made.
Sure.
I think the NordVPN joke was pretty funny, and then the quote tweeted the other thing. I thought it was pretty funny. I think it was pretty funny humor, and it could have worked. But I'm just saying, like, there's meaner things I could say, but also, like, again, there's a million jokes that fly about immigrants. Like, you were laughing.
But also, those jokes that he just came up on the spot are also like funny because, and you can explain them in the sense of, hey, this is all conspiratorial related to George Floyd, where people are making videos trying to debunk his murder, where people are discrediting his death by saying that he was on fentanyl, right? Like this is like a one-to-one, like, hey, do you see how you look now when you said all that stuff and I make the same joke and now it hurts your feeling? It is actually a good joke, but I mean, regardless if you think it's good or not, it is an apt joke to make. It is like an appropriate joke to make when you, like, within the context, right? It's not just like, and I think Destiny's about to point out the thing I was mentioning earlier, where he's just like laughing at that is like definitely not like that you shouldn't just be laughing at. It's like terrifying.
About like the alligator, I could say, but also, like, again, there's a million jokes that fly about immigrants. Like, you were laughing earlier about like the Alligator Alcatraz stuff.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
People's like moms, dads, brothers, and sisters that are going here, and even you think it's kind of funny. It's like epic alligator hats. You know?
Well, to me, I'm not laughing at the alligator Alcatraz. I'm merely laughing at the concept. I'm a pretty laughing.
It's not a concept though. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that you're laughing at. Well, I'm just laughing at the concept of the dead children. Like, it doesn't, like, dude, come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The other
sure,
thing
but you
is
can
that,
interpret that, but like, if you had a family member in Alligator Alcatraz, you're probably not going to interpret it that way, right? You're like, what? Damn, this guy's making fun of the fact that my uncle who's lived here for 20 years just got shipped off to some. Yeah.
To give full disclosure, I do have a family member who is constantly in prison. Surprisingly, it's not my dad.
That's a nice rape joke there. That doesn't make sense. Constantly in prison for what? Maybe I'm a bit insensitive and distributed, but he probably deserves to go to prison. Who deserves to go to Alligator Alcatraz just because they were fleeing the country? Alligator Alcatraz? Are you kidding me? What's the difference between a Jew and a dollar? I don't know. What is the difference between a Jew and a dollar? But no, seriously, like, you can't compare, oh, well, these people are fleeing the country, and yeah, is that illegal? Sure. I mean, but they're not being tried. They're not given trials. They're not getting these things. Like the person that you're talking about, the family member that's perpetually in prison and probably deserves to be there and has been determined by a court to be deserving of going to prison, that is not comparable to like a prison system that allows him to, or her, to get schooling, and it has access to meals and AC and all this different and has access to an actual due process and a court system that they can appeal to. Like, it's not even remotely similar. There's a million things that are different about it. Like, it's insane. It's completely different in every sense of the word.
And to be honest, I don't give a about them because they're a criminal. So I just don't talk to them because they're a piece of shit. I actually.
What is the crime? I'd care if I lost $6 million. See that? Okay. Yeah, that's that's a good one. I like that one. That's a good one. I like that one. That's pretty good. That's
I don't
clever.
think I would feel bad for someone who was incarcerated or in Alligator Alcatraz if they were put there for an action that because they like broke the law.
What is okay? I'm sorry. Like, are we gonna like act like crossing the border is like this egregiously like unacceptable crime? Are we like actually serious? Would you feel that same way for jaywalking or smoking a joint? Like, of course not. Of course you wouldn't. Like, but like, are we really gonna act like it's like, okay, sure, murderers, rapists, sure, that's fine. But also, these people haven't been given the option. They're probably trying to appeal for asylum. They're not getting a appeal process. What are we talking about? We're wasting a of money to send them to some evil prison surrounded by alligators so we can be as evil as we possibly can for no good reason, for the pure show, for pure theater. And you're like, what are we doing, bro? Like, I'm sorry. Be nice. I'm nice. I'm a nice guy.
Or they were a criminal or something.
Yeah, but when we say break the law, if the law is just that they like came here illegally like 20 years ago, like I think it feels different, right? No? Does it all feel the same to you? Like if I say
that's
that,
another thing. That's another thing too. Like these people are like integrated in society. Like these are yeah, there's people that have been here for a very, very long time that are just completely harmless. Like they are completely harmless. Is it illegal? Sure. So like, and I'm not saying that it's good to cross the border or that it's not as, or that like it's in the same vein as jaywalking or smoking a joint, for example. But the idea that these are people that are undeserving of fair treatment because they broke the law is so stupid.
Somebody's in jail because they got caught smoking marijuana. That feels a lot different.
Oh,
than
wow, look at that.
They're in jail
the rape waves in between me and Destiny's Mind were both rapists, right? Yeah.
Well, of course,
set fire to a grocery store, right?
Yeah, there's always levels. There's always levels.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I understand. I think the United States is trying to make a. I think they're kind of being forced in a position where they're having to get more extreme.
Oh my fucking
to really
God.
deal with the illegal immigration.
They don't care about illegal immigration. They don't. Because everyone knows what the problem is that when you go to the border, you say, I'm seeking asylum. And guess what? Most of those people probably do not have a good case for asylum, right? But the problem is you're not giving them that case. You're not giving them that ability to go to court. You're deporting you're literally just ripping people off the streets that are integrated within society. Like, what are we talking about here? Like what are we doing to fix the problem? We're putting money into Alligator Alcatraz. We're making deals with El Salvador to send people to concentration camps. We're giving border agents and ICE agents more money and not solving the actual issue of fixing the asylum process, making it, a little bit easier for people to get their green cards, especially these integrated people. Like, I don't think these people that are illegal immigrants that have been in the country for 20 years, that work jobs, that pay their rent, that follow the law, I don't think these people should be deported. Sorry if that's controversial to say. I don't think it's worth the resources to deport these people. This isn't about fixing the problem because we're throwing money at that doesn't fix it. It's all for show. Alligator Alcatraz is all for show. Giving money to ICE agents and Border Patrol agents and increasing the amount of people, decreasing the budget so we can hire more people in these fields, it does not fix the problem. Having more hands to catch illegals at the border or to have more hands to throw your innocent abuelita into a concentration camp, I'm sorry, does not seem like an effective use of resources or time or a good solution to solve the problem that these people care about so deeply, clearly. Give me a break.
Issue. Because we have people who are actively going against the nation and preventing ICE from doing their job and throwing bricks at police officers. So now they say, okay, well, because you guys are around, enjoy hanging out with alligators.
I mean, we can say that, but I could just easily flip it around and say maybe the president should learn to work more with governors and states, and we should actually have like a coherent immigration policy that enables us to take a big look at the system and fix things instead of just wasting all this money just trying to ship a few people out and not having a real solution at all. You could flip this around the same way, right?
Sure. I do think if everything worked perfectly, it would be a lot easier to deal with the issues that we have, but they just don't.
Sure, but I would go back to the one thing. So you're saying if things worked out perfectly, we'd be able to deal with these issues better. But I would argue that one of the big reasons why we can't deal with issues right now is because a lot of people voted for Trump because he's funny, and I think that's part of the problem. I also think
when was the last good president that we actually had?
Joe Biden.
You're gonna laugh, but I think Biden did a really good job as president. And
why is he even laughing at that? Why is he laughing at that? He said at the beginning of this debate, I haven't done any research at all. I don't do research. I don't know. You don't know anything. How do you have these opinions and these beliefs? How do you find this funny? What wealth of knowledge are you pulling from where you can just laugh at that statement? At what point do you realize that you're a puppet, that you've been brainwashed? When do you realize that? I'm sorry. How do you, why are you going to laugh at a statement like that? You don't know can you name, oh God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can laugh, but we can
sleeping, man, Sleepy Joe.
You say Sleepy Joe, but we can walk down every single issue, and he outperformed Trump like it's not even close. But if you're trying to evaluate, if we're trying to evaluate who the funnier president,
brother Azawaz, I'm sorry, there are tons of integrated citizens that are illegal immigrants that are not doing anything wrong, that they are just there, they're working, they're paying rent. There's plenty of people like this. Are there bad, like are there bad people coming over the border? Yeah. Are there bad people that came over the border that are in the country right now? Yeah, and they shouldn't be here. But the idea that every single person that is an illegal immigrant is just like a bad person from a contrasting culture, and that none of these people deserve to potentially be given citizenship or deserve to, at the very least, not be thrown into Alligator Alcatraz or a concentration camp in El Salvador without due process is just not how things work, brother.
President is. Then I mean, like
I'm not talking about those. I know. But the point that I'm making is that's when I'm saying that abuelita, right? That's what I'm saying. These people that are being sent to these El Salvador, first off, I mean, to be fair, most of the people being sent to the El Salvador concentration camps, they probably should be arrested. But a lot of these people aren't getting due process. A lot of these people probably are violent gang members. But the problem is we have no idea. The same thing goes for the Alligator Alcatraz. A lot of these people, they're being, we're talking about people who are being ripped off the streets. We're talking about people that are just being shipped over from the border to this like this tent on an island with no mattresses that is surrounded by hungry alligators. And these are just like, there are plenty of integrated people that are not like, I totally agree that we should not have violent criminals that are here illegally here. But like, if you want to solve the problem of illegal immigration, this is not the way to do it at all. This is like one of the worst ways to do it. And it's performative. It really is. It's just like how there was a bipartisan bill. It was actually made by a Republican, and everyone was cool with it. And it got shot down by Trump's guys. It was shot down by Matt Gaetz and that stupid blonde, whatever the her name is, the stupid that's married to Fox News guy, Marjorie Taylor, whatever the her name is, her. But yeah, like, no, this is not like this is not about these people don't care about the border. They don't care about illegal aliens or any of that. Like, this is just pure show. It really is, unfortunately.
It's going to be Trump, but like, are we voting for a clown or are we voting for a president, right?
To be fair, the Biden blast memes were hilarious. Biden did have some meme.
Like, what are we talking about here? The Biden blast? Is this what we're talking about?
Especially when like he, people think that Biden was the last vote for Donald Trump. But you should make one of those anime compilations where it's like battle IQ, Biden versus Trump, speed, Trump.
I guarantee you, Biden is smarter than Trump. I promise.
Power, you. Biden.
Trump
IQ,
is retarded,
Trump.
dude.
That'd be good, man. I think the political anime power scaling community could really like cross over.
What? Like, he doesn't take any of this seriously. I understand. Like, it's weird because he doesn't know anything, and then like the second Destiny starts like talking about it, he's just like, dude, those TikTok edits where it's like the power scaling things. We talk about who's stronger and who would win in a fight. Like, it's like, what? Like, dude, you don't like. Why are you so principled that you would like laugh at that statement that Biden was a good president, but then you have like nothing to say?
But yeah, also circling back, would like to shout out Donut Operator, one of the best people I know on this planet. Great fucking guy.
What is
as well as his whole unsubscriber. I really like those guys. They are very good people because they are people who do what they say rather than just talk about it all the time, which I think is very rare in the content creation space. But I think those jokes that you said, like even me, when you said the whole, we need to test those people for fent. I mean, you got to chuckle at me. I'm not going to lie. But I think it's because it's just the timing. It's the
yeah, but
timing.
that's what makes it edgy. It's not. Also, it doesn't make sense to make those jokes after the fact. Like, imagine I'm making jokes now, like, oh, remember those dead kids in Texas? I guess they should invest more in swimming pools.
Yeah, that would actually arguably be worse if you did it like 6 months later, because then it's like, dude, why that's a reach right there. Trump is dumb, but way more competent. I genuinely don't think that's true. Like, whenever you hear Trump like talk, whenever you hear Trump talk, it's like, what is he even saying? He's just like making shit up. Hold on. I'll just type in Trump into YouTube, see the most recent time he spoke to the media.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly.
We expect to be to Congress, like already. Like, imagine if Biden said that. He would be like, oh, what a retard, get him out.
And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in, and it's going to pertain initially to D.C. It's almost, we're going to use it as...
Is he answering the question? What was the question again? He's not answering the question.
Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Do you think it was about the time frame? And what is he talking about? He's talking about nothing. He's just saying random shit.
And we're going to be asking for...
You can do the same for Biden, but Biden, at least you could understand the substance of like what he's talking about. You could at least like... And by the way, I'm not here saying that Biden was like, oh, he was super sound of mind, he was super mentally well and like totally like fit to be president. But what this is bad, and nobody wants to call it bad. People have no problem on the left and right saying that Biden had some problems, right? This is bad. And everyone on the right, nobody wants to say that this is really bad, that he is an idiot. This is the first clip. This is the first clip that I could find. I just typed in Trump on YouTube and I clicked the first thing of him talking to people and answering questions. And this is the first question on the first video that I got. He's not answering the question. He's stumbling over his words. And no one's talking about it.
Long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days is...
Oh, and there he goes. After rambling for 15 seconds or 30 seconds over it, he finally gets to the actual point.
Use it as a very positive example. And we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days that's by the time you do it. We're going to have this in good shape, and don't forget.
Even then, he's not answering the question. I feel like he just used the words extension in 30 days. He's not even answering the question here. At least with Biden, he would. Let's see. Hold on. Let me literally look right now. Let's go look for Biden addresses. Media. It's not going to be good. Biden addresses the media.
Thank you very much for taking the time to be here. I think we can all agree that this has been a historic NATO summit. Some of the folks have been covering me for a while. About a year and a half ago, when the first G7 meeting took place in England, I talked about the need for us to reconsider the makeup of NATO, how it functioned, and come up with a different strategy for
like, he's speaking pretty clearly here. Let me see him field a question, because he's doing a speech. Do you not believe in media bias? Oh, after the last 8 years? Well, yeah, I would, but if anything, that would mean that the media is biased towards the right, which the right would disagree with.
And the heart and soul of our democracy, the voters, the poll workers, the election officials, they did their job and they fulfilled their duty. And apparently without much interference at all, without any interference, it looks like. And that's a...
I don't know if this is even a good example, because this is 2022. I could try to find one even recently, but like regardless, like I think my point stands for the most part, does it not? That clearly Trump is a very stupid, incompetent person that can barely speak. And then like it's fine. Like if you want to talk about Biden being the same way, that's totally fine. And I would agree that he probably wasn't fit to run again. Like that's why I supported Kamala. That's why I supported somebody else coming in. But like the idea that we can't, like no one is willing to say for Trump. No one is willing to say for Trump at all. No one. And it's right there in front of us.
At public schools,
right,
huh? Like it would make sense. That would be even more unhinged to say it now, no?
But even with that line of logic, you're saying you're telling edgy jokes because then there's a chance that people won't be positively receptive towards it. But then you sound like you're still surprised that people weren't positively receptive towards it.
I'm not surprised at all. I understand it's going to be edgy. Of course it is.
Okay.
But I'm not out here pearl clutching over my edgy jokes. That's the difference. I think edgy jokes are funny. I think all edgy jokes can be funny. Now I might disagree with the underlying ideology, but like, I mean, like, if a joke is funny, a joke is funny, even if I disagree with where it's coming from. Like, Nazis tell funny jokes sometimes. I'm not going to sit here and say that's impossible. But I'm not going to selectively pearl clutch, right? Like, I made a joke about, I think your dad or whatever, and then you brought up something related to my son. And, like, I told my child, like, when you said it, I was like, listen, bro, if I went into his family, he goes into my family. Like, that's fair. It's fair. I'm not going to sit here and cry over it, right? I think it's fair. So if people want to do the edgy joke thing, then fine, do the edgy joke thing. But it's like, it's either all the edgy jokes or it's none of the edgy jokes. That's I guess, what I want people to consider. Because, if there was, like, an immigrant boat from Nicaragua that overtipped in the Gulf of America now, and everybody died, and I tweeted out, you know, it's like, oh, wow, I guess black people really can't swim, LOL. Like, all the conservatives would be laughing about that joke. I would have omega lols all over my Twitter feed.
Bro,
like, nobody would be like,
so
bro, come on, that's not cool. Like, there were kids on that boat, they died. Like, everybody would just be laughing at it. I just don't like the selective edginess, yeah.
You think there's like a right versus left thing?
Yes.
No, it's not a right versus left thing. I think a lot of people do it where they're quote unquote edgy, but it's only selectively. And I think that people in general.
Well, yeah, I mean, left and right both do it, but the reason I said that is basically because it is like a highly political thing where it is based on like, well, if it's on the right, it's fine. If it's on the left, it's not fine. Like if it's a left-wing joke, then I have a problem with it. Like if it's making fun of my right side, then yeah, like and yeah, it does work vice versa. But I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood the question.
I don't need to be more aware of it, you know.
I just feel like maybe just like waiting like a day or two before we make fun of dead kids.
Wait a
It's just
day
like,
or two.
It's like the bare minimum, you know what I mean? Just like wait like a day.
Okay, did you wait a day or two after the Alligator Alcatraz things got shut down for you to not laugh at them? That's still a thing. It's not like it's a thing that's passed by. You know, the deaths happen and then they pass by. The Alligator Alcatraz is still a thing, unless it all already fell apart, which is very possible. But
let their bodies dry from the flood before we say LOL. Those kids, they're pieces of shit. They should have learned how to swim.
He didn't. That's not even what Desi said. I feel like it's bad that he can't accurately repeat what the joke was. Like, that's bad.
I mean, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. But if people listen, I'm just saying, if people want to be edgy, then be edgy. But if people don't like it when people are edgy towards them, then don't be edgy. You know, but remember that feeling when it comes time to being edgy towards other people. Just internalize it. Be like, okay, maybe these aren't okay jokes to say. You know.
What do you think about my dad, by the way?
Well, I haven't even read into it that much. I just know the memes from Frogan.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Nobody really has. That's what's very interesting. It is crazy to see how people think that the sins of a father are the sins of the son, which I think is a little bit silly. Do you think that's crimes are generationally passed down?
I mean, if you're a conservative, you want to get rid of all the DACA kids. It seems like people think that. Just kidding. Not to make it political. No, not necessarily. Yeah. Of course not. No.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess like for me, like just to wrap this up, unless you had any more you wanted to say, I do just think for that specific scenario, and obviously I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on this. I think that's okay. I think this is just one of those things where it's like the people involved obviously got pissed off because they're the people involved. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, dude. It was bad, like having to be there and like not knowing.
But like
if
the California fire stuff was also bad. Right? Like those people didn't deserve to die any more than the kids in Texas, regardless of what governor errors might exist, right?
Sure, but I don't think anybody told a joke, and feel free to prove me wrong. I don't think anybody said, LOL, those people deserve to die. I think the jokes were, hey, you guys aren't handling these fires appropriately, and people are dying because of them.
But like, I don't think my joke was, LOL, those kids deserve to die either, no?
Did you not say, why would you put, can you pull up one of your jokes? I feel like they were pretty rough, man. I feel like they were pretty rough.
Yeah, they were. I think, wasn't it something about like, maybe people shouldn't have used like NordVPN to hide their porn usage or something like that because Texas had just done like some stupid porn ban or whatever. I think Donut Operator was memeing about the fire stuff. I don't know if it was one of his tweets or whatever.
He wasn't just memeing about it. He was responding to Gavin Newsom being like, this is your fault. You're a piece of shit. Like he wasn't just memeing about it. He was making jokes, but he was also like
was on the people who were in charge of handling the fires, but he wasn't making fun of the people who were suffering. He was very frustrated at that because he wanted to
sure, but
better.
I mean, but if you want to take that framing, I'm frustrated that Texas is wasting their time and money on stupid laws like banning pornography.
True.
Rather than like upgrading maybe siren infrastructure.
Dude, all my porn sites are going down, dude. I'm gonna have to stop gooning at this rate. All my porn websites are going away. It sucks.
Say, as a gooner, I'm also very upset that I have to put my ID card in to jerk off to Pornhub. It is very frustrating for me. But yeah, I mean, let me just because I don't want to be arguing in bad faith. I'll just let me pull up a joke.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that I'm not misremembering this. I remember you being.
You don't have a VPN?
Crazy.
No, not on my phone. I don't goon that much actually. It's just a joke. But I don't have a VPN on my phone. I do have one on my computer, but yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
What was the date of that? Do you remember the date of that?
I mean, I'm sure if you search like at the OmniLiberal and then NordVPN,
it was July 3rd, wasn't it?
Okay.
It's like the day before 4th of July.
OmniLiberal, NordVPN. So once again, I want to make this a timing issue because just like the absurd, and I understand this is an edgy joke. I understand.
Sure.
True.
Right.
Porn is
because
bad.
the timing of this is so absurd to say something so insane. Like I feel like this shit is fucking.
I mean, it only works. It only works. Like, why would I make this joke later on, right?
Also, like, the joke isn't funny if it's not edgy. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the joke, like, even unedgy jokes are going to, like, be at the expense of someone or something that you could, like, rationally say is, like, harmful. So it's just, like, I don't know. Like, this is just, like, a dumb point. Like, the timing is just wrong. Like, it's just stupid. It's just dumb. It wouldn't be funny if it wasn't at the time, and it's just, in general, like, it needs to be an edgy joke for it to be funny. I don't know what to tell you. There's something else I was gonna say. Whatever.
Okay, I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban. I feel like that's so insane to say before their bodies are even, like, dry. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe we just wait a little bit. And you know, I mean...
Okay, it's insane to say that Alligator Alcatraz is hilarious as a concept, while meanwhile, I would imagine that there's people that are there not very happy, right? Actually, what is even going on? Actually, Alligator Alcatraz, was that just a big thing for show? Are there people currently there right now? Oh, they're still building it right now. Wait, that's even worse. They're still in production of this. It's far from over. It's only just beginning. And you're making fun of it. These people are gonna get sent to Alligator Alcatraz, and the final stones haven't even been laid, and you're making fun of Alligator Alcatraz. That's f***ed up.
I don't know if you're like, oh, there's this horrible thing happening. I need to make a joke about it right now. Well, because I can't tell the joke in a week. It's like, well, I mean,
I guess, but like Asmongold was literally live reacting to migrant boats flipping over and everybody dying. I think I sent you a tweet where I was quote tweeting some of.
Is that a thing? I hate to talk about Asmon. Is that an actual clip?
Somebody wants it from yesterday. I think we looked at him yesterday. I linked a thing where this is Donut Operator like blaming Gavin Newsom and then talking about like DEI and retweeting comics. I'm pretty sure this was while the fires were ongoing, I think.
Yep, it was.
Or like immediately after. I don't know. I don't think people would see this and think that this is super epic and hilarious just because it's focused on Newsom, especially when it's all based on lies too. But
once again, I obviously can't speak for the Donut Operator.
This is sure, but also wait, real quick.
I don't see him.
You can't speak for Donut Operator, but you can speak for Destiny in the moment in terms of like his intentions and whether or not it was good or bad. Like that's what are we doing? What is this conversation even about, dude? Like holy.
Saying anything about like, you know, oh man, these kids got struck by God. It was kind of just like, hey man, run your city better.
Yeah, but also, well, but I mean, like they also would make those jokes.
Run your city better. Do you think? Well, okay, you should run your government better, Trump. Maybe don't put Elon Musk in charge of deciding what is useful and worthless in terms of government efficiency, because perhaps he will make a decision that results in the deaths of children that you are currently upset about, by the way, but okay.
It doesn't make sense to make those types of jokes against left-leaning people either, right? They blame DEI and woke stuff, right? Because the people on the left apparently love DEI and woke. But people on the right will say, like, God saved Trump from the assassin by what? By guiding his bullet into the head of the firefighter? I don't know. That's like, that's what I'm going to joke about. I can't joke about, like, DEI with the right because they don't do DEI, right? Like, you make the jokes that are more relevant to that group of people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people who, I don't know, like just the whole liberals versus conservatives. Conservatives do this, liberals do this. It's kind of hard to say what each side does in totality.
It's not okay. So this is the issue. This is the real issue that I have. Okay, is that at the end of the day, people are getting mad about tweets or jokes. Like when I was on Piers Morgan, I said, like, how many kids did my tweet kill? Right, none. But when it comes to, there was a big hurricane in 2023.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, you were.
What?
You just get me laughing, bro.
Good. I try. That's what I try to do. But listen, I think it was 2023. Huge hurricane. Okay, that went up Florida, Georgia, South and North Carolina. Big hurricane. Reporters were asking, like governors, like, hey, like, how is the FEMA stuff going? And they're like, oh, Biden called us last night, right? Like Democrats don't f around with FEMA and aid. Like it's immediately delivered. Like there's no questions asked.
Yeah, Trump's holding it hostage. He's holding it hostage. You don't get rid of these woke DII programs. You don't get rid of them, we're going to have problems.
Open his pocketbooks. Whatever they needed from the federal government, they had it there. And there were like
Trump was talking about this before he was even president, I'm pretty sure.
Forces people who were literally in like the Carolinas that were protecting neighborhoods from FEMA because they didn't want them to come and help them because they're worried that they would loan them $300 and steal their homes. And then when the California wildfires are blazing, Trump is talking about how he's not going to give California FEMA funds unless they change how they move their water around, you know? And at the end of the day, nobody's getting mad at
Change how they move their water around. Is that what it was? I thought he was talking about woke policies.
stuff.
Okay, maybe I'm
but
wrong.
people get really mad at my jokes. And it's like, bro, one of these is like real world policy that is impacting whether or not people live or die in these events.
Wait, this is the point that I've been making the whole time. Like, you're not mad at like the actual policy makers. You're not mad at Elon. You're not mad at Trump. You're not mad about anything that's actually happening in a tangible sense. You're mad at the guy on Twitter who made a joke about it at your expense, by the way, at Republicans' expense, by the way, because it's totally poking fun at not only the conservative legislature that caused this, or not legislature, once again, it was a conservative policy, I guess you could say, but also it's poking fun at like conservative thought processes as a whole. And that's what you're mad about. You're mad about making fun of dead kids, but who killed the kids? You're not mad at them. You're just mad at the person making a joke about it.
And then the other one is just people getting mad at my jokes. Like, well, do we actually give a at all? Because in that case, like the dead kids is just a performative thing that people can pretend to care about. But at the end of the day, when it comes to important, like voting for people who are going to actually fix this stuff, like it's all a joke. And that's the thing I guess that I have an issue with.
I feel like people are getting upset at everything equally. Maybe it's your algorithm.
I don't. Oh my God! Holy. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Okay. What? That is such a non-response to what he just said. He just made a point of like, you know, I made a joke about something that you could think is bad, but like, how do you actively attempt to fix the thing that is actually bad about my joke, which is that kids died? Do you like? What do you think about Doge coming in and cutting funds to the National Weather Service, and as a result, potentially causing the inaccuracies that came on the weather report the day before that could have prevented all of these people from dying? What do you have to say about that? Why are you spending all your time talking about people making jokes and how it's insensitive? And that's why I don't believe it's about like the timing. I don't. I believe it's genuinely just like partisan, like you're a partisan hack. But okay.
What do you mean?
Yeah, true.
Like I feel like people get upset at people. Hold up, my brain is all over.
Once again, oh my God! Ooh, don't be mean. Don't be mean. Oh my God, he's doing the thing where it's like he just can't, like he's being given like a very, it's so simple to understand, right? You're mad at my joke, but you're not mad at the people who definitely had played a part in this whole thing happening. They didn't cause the flood, but they could have prevented the people from dying if they had funded the proper institutions, but they said it was a big waste of money. And you're mad about the people dying, and you're mad at people making the jokes. You're not mad at the people who potentially caused their deaths. How does that f your brain up? I don't understand.
Sure.
You talk too much, man, before I can chime in. It's just too much to fucking take in. I'm trying to keep up with like 300 words.
Oh yeah, blame him because you can't understand the most simple concept. Oh my God, sorry. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice.
I feel like people aren't only getting angry at your jokes. I feel like they're getting at anybody who was like upset about that.
Ooh, okay, fine, cool. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Incredible. Thanks so much.
Taking light that situation while it was occurring. Am I crazy?
Yeah, maybe, but like, why not do something preventative then? Like, there are things that we can do preventative that conservatives fight about, and they don't want to do it. And then when the thing happens, then they expect us to care, and it's like, bruh. Like, I'm sure you've had a friend, we've all had a friend who's been too hung up on a girl, or, you know, and they go to the group chat and they're like, oh, guys, I think I'm going to try again with my ex. And everybody's like rolling their eyes. And I was like, bruh, you've been hung up on this chick for like 4 years. Why are you so retarded? And then he goes back and he's like, guys, it's going to work this time.
And I had a friend try to kill himself over a girl that he couldn't like get over.
Yeah, sure. Well, but the worst thing is when they do that, but then they go back to them, and then like 6 months later they crash out, and it's like, bro, like everybody's gonna roll their eyes, like, come on, bro. But like, imagine the guy comes back, he's like, I need you guys to take this super seriously, and I was like, well, bro, why are you going back to it? Like, we all told you this is retarded, you know. And I think the issue is a lot of these issues are preventable, right? Like, everybody knows that Texas's power grid had weird shit going on with it because of their inability to buy power or link up with other states, but like they didn't do anything, and then that snowstorm happens and 200 people die. And it's like, okay, well, you know, when there's ARPA funds that are like filling the coffers of all of these counties of Kerr County, and residents are going up to these, going up on these city council meetings, and they're like, we don't want to accept any of this money because Biden is going to force us to do DEI. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. And nobody seems to care about that or talk about that. But then when people start dying as a result of these systems failing, they're like, well, you can't make any jokes about it because that's the real bad thing. It's like, I wish you guys cared half as much about the actual policy.
I think it's very hard to get to an agreement on what jokes are allowed and what aren't.
I just like, I don't think he understands like what the conversation's even like. He doesn't. This isn't even about jokes. It's not about what jokes are right or wrong. We've agreed, right, that in this situation the joke is wrong. Sure, that's like the standard that's been set for the current conversation. The joke is wrong. But even if this wrong joke is existing, is it worse or worthy of more scrutiny than the policymakers, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the leader of Doge, who ultimately are responsible for the cutting of funding to the National Weather Service, which ended up really bad, predicted 6 inches of rain, and ended up being a massive flood, and like 100+ people died. Or talking about, he brought up the thing about like that city council meeting or whatever, where those people were screaming about like, not taking Biden's money or whatever, and that also played a part. Like, why can't I don't understand how you can't just understand what the conversation is about. It's like, it's just right there. You can, okay. Dodge, yeah, they're dodging. I don't think he's dodging. They're saying he's dodging. I don't think he's dodging. I think he just genuinely doesn't understand what the conversation is about.
In nuance, it's when a tragedy is currently occurring, the people who are currently trying to prevent that tragedy probably aren't going to receive that joke.
But they're not preventing the tragedy. They're just responding afterwards to a tragedy that everybody told them was coming.
Sure.
And they took no steps to take preventative measures against. And then...
Sure. I just feel that preventing the... How do I say specifically? Because obviously 17 of the girls were found.
Okay.
Right? So at least preventing the total collapse in that disaster scenario. I just feel like there's a certain sensitivity that obviously you don't have to abide to. You have no obligation. Once again, I'm saying you have no obligation to abide.
Sure, but imagine if the same sensitivity would have existed when all the Kerr County residents were saying we don't want to accept money from Biden because we don't want DEI, vaccines, and wokeness to destroy our county. And now you don't have your siren warning system. Like Ted Cruz was literally on Piers 5 minutes before I was talking about how important it was to get that siren system up. I can link a YouTube video if you want. You can listen to these residents talking about how they don't want to accept the money because FEMA is going to... And now you don't have your siren warning system. Like Ted Cruz was literally on Piers 5 minutes before I was talking about how important it was to get that siren system up. I can link a YouTube video if you want. You can listen to these residents talking about how they don't want to accept the money because FEMA is going to use it to steal all their property and they're going to force DEI and woke on them. None of this is true. None of this happened. There's no way for this to even happen. And they had the money sitting in their bank account and they didn't put the sirens up, right? And so my tweets, as far as I'm aware, didn't kill anybody. But supporting these types of policies arguably did kill these people. Yep. And it's how are we caring more about my jokes than the actual policy itself? That's crazy to me.
There's no way that he doesn't understand now, right? Now he gets it, right? Now he's going to get it.
I feel like we're talking about different things here because I feel like we're...
No way, dude. No shot. I don't... Yeah. He finally got... He's like, I think we're talking about different things. No, you just don't understand what's going on. He's making a very simple point. You, for some reason, still want to talk about how the joke is bad. But Destiny's kind of within the framing of the conversation. It's already been conceded that the joke is bad. And there's okay, the joke is bad, but isn't the policy decisions here worse? The people responsible for that, aren't they worse? Okay, yeah, but let's keep talking about how the joke is bad. Yeah, good.
Really feel like we're just kind of doing both. One, I absolutely agree that once again, I'm not informed. If that were to be a thing that occurred, where they say, "Hey, we don't want these sirens to tell us when floods are coming," because I believe there was a flash flood where I believe it was 32 feet of water over the course of 3:47 to 4:17 a.m. that swept through a Christian youth camp. If people were actively fighting and deterring people from actually getting preventative warning systems, well, that really sucks.
Yeah,
it doesn't suck. It doesn't just suck. It's worse than the joke. Does his joke suck? Because you said his joke is really, really bad. His joke is bad. But You know, the people, they didn't want to, they, for no good reason at all, because out of fear of wokeness, they rejected emergency alarm systems. That sucks. You know, the kids died, and that's really bad. You know, but the decision that led to them being killed sucks. But the kids dying is bad, and the jokes about it are bad. But the decision just kind of, it just sucks. Like, what the f are we talking about?
But I think there's also a line where it's like, hey man, we warned you, and now all these kids died, so now LOL XD, they're dead.
It's not, what? No, the problem is that you are directing your anger at the wrong people. You're directing your anger at people making jokes rather than the people who are responsible for the things in the real world happening. Like, what are we talking about? You think it's liberals dunking on you or whatever? No, it's because you're mad at the wrong thing. You're mad at people making jokes. Okay, yeah, you get it.
Sure, I understand what you're saying, but this is the same thing. Remember the example I gave at the very beginning where I said it's hard to talk about the magnitude thing, where I broke up with my ex because she, you know, left a lot of shit around the house, she snored at night, she stabbed me 6 times, and she was mean to my mom, right? Where if I were to rattle that off, you'd be like, wait, one of these things seems really bad. I don't know why you just brought them up casually with the other 3 things, right? Like, I feel like if I was surveying the total political landscape, and I'm like, okay, well, here you have $5 million sitting in a bank account that these citizens don't want to touch, even though it's already their money, because they're worried about the woke mob stealing their city or something, because Biden is evil. And then you've got people like me making stupid jokes on Twitter, and that's where most of the anger is. It's like, okay, well, something is broken here.
I actually don't think most of the anger is targeted towards you. I think it was...
None, no, where... Okay. So that means that, like, Donut Operator and Tectone, you two have spoken out more about Doge and their policy to apparently that the National Weather Service is worthless. You two have said more about that than you have about what Destiny's joke was. Like, no, I don't even need to look into that. No, neither of you did. I'm sorry.
It's just like a couple of guys. You know?
Well, no, I'm just saying that none of the people that were mad at me cared that the amount of misinformation that's being spread is like preventing people from doing things that will save their lives. Like, I guess it's kind of separate. You can argue that like this is like a joke thing versus the policy thing, but like I just don't understand. I mean, I do understand it. It's because people don't pay attention to the policy part of things. But again, this goes back to the like you're getting mad at me. Well, not you're getting mad at me, right? But you're saying that like it's kind of cold to be joking about dead kids. But then, like, remember earlier, I'm like, well, it's kind of crazy to be voting for a president because he's funny, right? And like, if the standard for who's going to be president is the funniest guy, well, then my standard for dealing with catastrophes, I guess, is going to be to make the worst joke, because that's where we're at politically now, right? Like, if we want to take policy and lives and saving people seriously,
oh my God, Destiny like gave him like an out. The conversation is going to move away from this. I really like want this hammered into Tectone that he needs to like, dude, like seriously. Come on, like this, like you need to see the point being made here. I really hope he nails him on this.
Then we should take it seriously, like through and through. But it can't be like, well, we can't allow the bad jokes, but we can allow the bad policy. Like, one of these things is crazy. Bad policy is horrible, and bad jokes are like kind of bad, you know?
I feel like the comparison is a little bit silly, but this reminds me of something that I believe one of your homies said.
Well, here, just one quick thing, then you make your point. If you got rid of all of my bad jokes, 0 people would have been saved. If you changed the bad policy, then potentially half or more of the people would have heard the sirens and would have started moving immediately, right?
He should just ask, which is worse, my joke or this? And if so, why are you talking more about my joke? Like, yeah, it's a 2-part question. Which is worse, my joke or the policy decisions? Well, obviously the policy decisions. Okay. Did you personally spend more time talking about criticizing me for making the joke, or did you spend more time criticizing Trump and Elon or criticizing the people that decided that wokeness was too bad to take the money for the sirens? Like, and then the answer would be, I spent more time talking about you. Okay, why is that? And would he have an answer? I don't think he would. I don't think he would. I don't think he would. I don't, like, what answer could you possibly have? There's no good reason for that at all.
Right. So one of these things...
I want to make it very clear. Sure. Like, I absolutely do think if there was a way to change the policies in order to prevent that disaster from occurring, I think that'd be great.
But you didn't say anything about it, bro. You didn't say anything about it, and that wasn't the main contention for you.
Anything about anybody saying, oh, we shouldn't have this policy, this, that, and the other because of DEI. I didn't hear about anything about that.
If you get bored later, I shot you 2 links. You can either watch them later or watch them or whatever, but you can go through it later.
Sure.
Yeah, but, okay, sorry.
Sure. But yeah, I guess I live in a reality where I feel like I wish both had happened.
I live in a reality where I'm talking about political stuff and I don't know anything, and I don't do any research. Admittedly, I don't do it, but I live in a reality. You don't. No, you live in a fantasy. But okay.
But it's obvious like wishful thinking. I do wish that there was policies that could have prevented the travesty that occurred. And then I also think that maybe.
Okay, then you should be mad at Elon for cutting them and deciding that they were worthless. He cut funding to the NHW or the NWS, right? The National Weather Service, NWS. Okay, why would you do it? What? Be mad at that. You should be mad then, because he's the one that killed the kids. It was Elon. It was Trump. It was the Hicks in the county that voted against the alarm thing or whatever. Come on.
Maybe some people just handled the situation with a little bit more empathy. For
kill me, dude.
I know the jokes wouldn't have been as funny, Destiny, but maybe like waiting a week once you don't have to do anything after.
Why is this all he cares about? He doesn't care about the Okay, cool. Awesome. I know everything I need to know. I have nothing else to say.
People were so upset. But I guess
that's why people were so upset. Cool. Good. I'm glad. Good. Awesome. Good.
That I'm wondering for you is, I know in the political space, showing emotion is like weakness. Right.
I mean, it depends on what we're talking about. I think showing emotion is great.
Kill me, dude.
People should be emotional. They should care about,
in the political sphere, like if you get very angry, that means you lose. If you start crying, that means
some people think that, well, if you're crying, you're almost always losing, unless you're a white woman. Sorry. No, I mean, like it depends on, but I mean, generally, if you become unhinged, people say like, oh, he's mad, he loses or something, sure.
Yeah. And I see a lot of people in chat saying, I haven't addressed chat the entire time. But there's just a couple of people saying, only joke when I say so. I don't think anybody here thinks that's what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying for a specific situation, when there's people on the scene attempting to help a tragedy that just occurred less than 24 hours, 48 hours ago, you should expect people to be upset if you're on an active disaster scenario. I don't know why anybody would not.
You know what? I was going to say something. I'm not going to say anything. No.
Expect that.
I'm not going to say anything.
Because it's just annoying.
I'm just going to keep repeating myself over and over.
It's really that simple.
Sure, but then you also have to. I mean, you have to have a little bit of empathy for the other side. That I don't know if you've ever seen like an enabler, like a horribly enabling friend, where somebody's making bad decisions and then somebody's enabling the out of it, and then now that person is, having the repercussions of their bad decision, and the person goes to like help them, and you're like, oh, good luck, dude, and it's like, well, where's the empathy for me? It's like, I mean, bro, we all saw this coming. Everybody knew this was gonna happen, and now it's happening, and now you want us to be empathetic for you while you're up. Like in every other circumstance, you'd say like have some responsibility.
If I were to, like, for example, I had a little sister who everybody knew this disaster that she was setting herself up for, warned them multiple times, and then the disaster happened. I didn't go, told ya, you deserved it, retard. I said,
but I mean, you kind of, but
you go get ice cream?
No, you kind of did though, right? Because didn't you say earlier that if you had like family members in prison, you didn't give a about them, that they deserved it? Isn't it the same thing?
Oh yeah, because they did that not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. This family member specifically has been in jail more than they've been out of jail since 15.
Okay, so
Iron Spike Mike, 7-time rape champion. Thank God.
They do it enough, then you don't care? Well, I mean, like, but that's fair, sure. I guess.
Absolutely.
Sure.
If they do it enough, I'm like, okay, dude. I don't know how many times Texas has said, man, these libs and these DEI trannies, I don't want any of their money. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know how many times they've done that, personally. But I guess at a certain time, if that
they have done it over and over and over and over and over again. That's the issue, right? Yeah.
That's where like the difference of our knowledge. You say that you're a very informed person. I don't know how many times they've done that. I would struggle to think of a.
Didn't he say he sent you a video? You could just click on it and just watch 2 minutes of it, right?
More than one time that you just told me that they've done that. If that is a repeat occurrence, then absolutely, maybe we should put our egos aside and really work on the policies that make this country safer. That way tragedies like this don't occur.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, just obviously, I
mean, like, arguably it's happening right now again with the vaccine thing, right? Where you're having these people in Texas, there's not many now, it's single digits, but like dying of measles. And it's like kids in the United States shouldn't be dying of measles. This is a crazy thing. That's a crazy crash out if your kid is dying from measles in the United States. And it's like, we don't care, I guess, when it's 2, but what if it's like 10 or 100? And it's like, just so you know, I'm giving you preview, okay? I'm giving you a heads up. If like 100 kids next year in Texas die from measles, I'm going to be making jokes about it. There's going to be like connect the dot coloring book jokes I'm going to be making about kids dying, because it's like, bro, this is the most preventable thing in the world. And if people don't care enough to do something about it right now, well, I'm not going to care not to make jokes about it when the bad happens, you know?
I'm Googling how many people are dying from measles.
I think it's 3 so far in the United States. I think 2 were in Texas. So, but I'm saying right now it's not huge right now, but like the numbers are growing, and it's like, it's super preventable. It's just a super preventable, easy thing to not have happen. You know, like Jesus.
I feel like it was like with only 3 people dying, you know, from like a thing that affects everybody. It's probably like not too big of an issue to worry about, don't you think?
He's like, I don't think he's.
For
I don't.
now.
I don't know. I don't know if he's like even listening like at all. I'm not. Wait. He might. Okay. He might actually just be stupid then. I wanted to be hesitant of calling him stupid because maybe he's just like not informed, but I think he might actually be like kind of a stupid person. Well, that makes me feel even more bad for him.
But then it's going to become like, how do things become an issue, right? Like, you know, that like a person who weighs, if a person weighs 400 pounds,
billions of people, though, it's like pretty hard to focus on.
It's not. It's very easy because people aren't getting vaccinated, right? There's over 1,400, 500 cases now, right? And then this just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, right?
Absolutely will.
Like, not to be mean, but like 200 dead kids in Texas is also like a drop in the bucket compared to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that. Like, if you want to talk about like issues, like there's not like a couple hundred people dying is not like super imperative. Like, a lot of people die every single day. Like, it's not like, yeah, it's just like a
people in the United States. Who cares, right? But you wouldn't say that because
I think the staggering number is because it was
like how many kids die in school shooting? Like, how many deaths in school shootings in 2024? USA in total. It says 4, but I know it's got to be more than that. 46. In 2024, there were at least 46 deaths resulting from gun violence on school grounds. That's deaths specifically, right? So, like, would you say, like, oh, well, school shootings, like, they aren't that big of a deal? No, you wouldn't. You know, you wouldn't say, you would, yeah, it's just kind of dumb.
Natural disaster versus a contagious disease.
What is measles if not natural? If anything, measles is more natural than having a campsite in the middle of a riverbed, no?
No, I'm saying a natural disaster. I'm not claiming that measles isn't natural. I'm saying a natural disaster, like a hurricane, an earthquake, you know, like a flood. You know, it's a natural disaster.
Sure. I mean, I heard a lot. Now, maybe this is before the time of, I don't know, everyone in chat or maybe you, but like a lot of people were making fun of black people in New Orleans that died from Katrina. But I mean, but that's a separate time. And
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, that was like, what? Was I like in 5th grade back then? That was a long ass time. I think I was in Hurricane Katrina when that happened. That was in Virginia, no? Or was that like more than that?
What? Wait, what?
Was it Hurricane Katrina? Was that in the United States or am I crazy?
Yeah.
He just said New Orleans. It was in New Orleans. What do you mean? Is it in America? Holy. Oh, I feel so bad. He's like actually. Oh, God. I'm not saying this to be mean. He's genuinely just like a kind of a dumb person.
But yeah, it was in the U.S.
Yeah, was that in the Virginia area or no?
It might have made it all the way up there, but the huge damage was in Louisiana. That was the New Orleans. That was when Kanye West was on TV and he was like,
George Bush doesn't care.
Black people or something.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
When that happened. Let me actually Google that. Did Hurricane Katrina hit Virginia? I remember hearing about that shit forever ago.
It probably rained a little. I don't think there was any damage or like anything substantial to say that Hurricane Katrina like hit Virginia.
Hurricane.
What is it? What
made it? Because some of the really big hurricanes will get quite a ways through the U.S., but
what is it? What is the relevancy of this? What is going on? Why is this happening? Why do we care?
Yeah, it did hit Virginia. Over 2 million households in Virginia lost power due to that. Okay, so I'm not fucking.
Oh my God, they lost power. Oh my God, the winds and the rain and the winds made them lose power. 2 million homes lost power.
Fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
20 deaths in Virginia. True, it's like 3 to measles.
20 deaths in Virginia. Oh, really? Jesus. Damn, survival of the fittest, I guess.
What I'm just saying is that
skill issue.
We were talking about the measles and
yeah, you're saying one was a natural disaster, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think COVID classifies as a natural disaster. It's just like a
natural disaster. Actually, wait. I was gonna call him stupid. Maybe it would it be considered a natural? I feel like a natural disaster is specifically like a weather term or a term for like a specific event, like a natural disaster, be like a tree falling into like a church and killing like 30 children, like, right? But like I don't think a pandemic would be considered a natural disaster.
Contagious disease. But yeah, no, I absolutely think that everybody should be vaccinating their kids to prevent, contagious diseases.
Wow. So brave. Give yourself a pat on the back, Tectone. Your bravery is admirable.
Yeah.
Admirable.
I think the reason why people aren't taking this seriously right now is because, while it does have the significance to outbreak. Wait, are people not taking measles seriously?
No, people are anti because ever since people lost their
mind.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Are people not taking measles seriously? There's people that aren't vaccinating their kids. There's people just like anti-vax. It used to be like a relatively fringe thing. Now it's like very popular. It's very, very popular. I mean, now I'm not saying like every Republican believes in it, but it is probably more popular than it's ever been. And people are like, measles is at a higher risk of being a problem now than a while, at least, right?
Vaccines,
a lot of things
which also led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people that conservatives don't care about. Yeah. But ever since the
or whatever the fuck
COVID vaccines, now people are like turning against all vaccines. RFK just canceled like 30 different vaccine research things in the United States.
Yeah,
which is also really
fire,
sad.
dude.
But now people also aren't taking like the measles vaccines in a lot of places now. So measles was eradicated from the United States, and now we have like over 1,500 cases in the U.S. Like it was gone.
Nice.
And now it's back.
Good.
How did it come back?
Because people didn't.
How did it come back? Kill me. You think like everyone getting vaccinated just means like a disease just goes away?
Save their kids. So if some person brings it into the country or whatever, and now people are starting to get infected, like it'll start to become endemic, I guess, or it'll start to spread more, and it'll be like a disease that'll be widespread in the United States at some point if people continue to not get vaccinated.
Okay, just for my final question, why are you telling me this? I'm figuring.
He's like, actually, I don't think he knows I don't think he understands just like what's going on. COVID was not natural. From what I understand, there's no evidence for that whatsoever. It came from a wet market in China. Did not come out of a lab. No proof of that.
I'm trying to figure out how we got here, because I obviously believe that people should vaccinate their kids.
Because
I have no idea why you're telling me this.
No, I know. Well, I know exactly.
It's first off, it's like a long conversation, and it's like he's using examples. He's pointing out that it's like this is happening because of misinformation. It's happening because of like this conservative mentality of just like all this that is just like uncritically parroted, right? It's pretty relevant, but
exactly. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase. Because
I have no idea why you're telling me this.
No, I know. Well, I know exactly. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it nicely. Yeah, I don't care about people who get mad about bad jokes when they're doing really bad actions. That's the thing that's bothering me, is the magnitude of the response that conservatives as a whole, and because earlier you said that like, well, Trump is a funny guy, so fuck it. It's like, well, sure, but then like if you think that Trump is a funny guy, we're gonna vote for him. I'm not gonna give a fuck about making some jokes about dead kids if like the policies that Trump is enacting are leading to the deaths of like hundreds of thousands of people. That's not even touching like USAID and foreign bodies or whatever, right? But just in the United States alone, from like vaccine related stuff, let alone any other health related stuff, let alone any other DACA stuff or whatever else. I'm just saying like it can't be this many policies that are leading to death, and then it's like, but the jokes are so bad. Like I don't take that very seriously. That's how I view it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No. And once again, I never came into this conversation thinking that I was going to change your mind about, hey, Destiny, be more sensitive, because I don't think that you're
change his mind, brother. Okay.
You're a guy who has. I don't think that you're an emotional guy. I think I've seen your content for over probably like 5 years on and off, and I don't think I've even ever seen you change your voice ever, besides whenever you crash out. But I've never heard you sound sad. I've never sound you sound in distress at all. I feel like you have a neutral mode and then you have an angry mode.
Sure.
But yeah, I just feel like in the same vein where it's like, absolutely, I don't give a about what happens in the president, but I understand that people are going to crash the out over me when I do that. Just like when I wore a MAGA hat as a joke, I understand that people are going to crash the out on me, and I accept that. Just like in the same way that I think that, while I don't think you have any obligation to stop joking about dead kids if you think it's funny, I just feel like accepting the fact that you are going to piss people off is just kind of just like the norm.
Okay, and what do you have to say about the policymakers? I think it sucks. I think it's bad. I don't like those policies. Like, you're not talking about the jokes like this. You're not saying, I wish I hadn't heard the joke. I wish I didn't see it. It's an unfortunate joke. I just wish I had never seen it because it really upset me. Like, no, you're saying the joke is bad and you shouldn't make them. You're not like, that's criticism. You're not giving Trump or Elon or these hicks criticism. But
wait, repeat that last thing again.
Well, like if you make jokes about dead kids, people are probably going to be mad.
Oh, fine, sure.
When has Destiny ever argued that like, oh, it's like you shouldn't be mad? People shouldn't be mad at me. Is that what he's saying in your eyes?
But if Donald Trump and conservatives' putting policies are leading to dead kids, I mean, then they don't really have any place to complain, and that's what I'll keep saying.
Hey, man, trust me. Once again, this was. I already knew that there was no way that I was going to come in here and say, I'm going to make Destiny feel bad for these. I already knew that wasn't going to happen.
I love how he's like. He hasn't made like zero convincing arguments for anything. He hasn't said like anything profound. He has no like, self-admittedly, like no background in research on any political issue whatsoever. Like I don't know why he's like acting so high and mighty as if like he has been like, he's like, well, I knew that I like, yeah, you weren't able to be convinced. I knew that you were like not like gonna believe anything I said. Like, what the like, why are you talking like that? As if like Destiny hasn't been providing you countless like different sources of information and like arguments against things that you're saying, and you just like can't engage with it whatsoever. Like you're looking at an actual buffoon.